Welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus. Here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you, and let's party. Welcome back. Shout out to Nick, Lou, Kitty. Welcome. So I don't know about you guys, but I am still reeling. From everything that went down. And I was, on the fence of whether to try to, just move on and cover something else. Timcast did a culture war where they were talking about what's going on. And eventually I landed on a Piers Morgan thing, which I think was a little bit more useful because we need to bring down the temperature. I've been talking to different people who are literally ready to take to the streets. And that is not a world that you want to see. That is not anything good. That's not anything that you even want to get close to. And we are already close enough. But it is it's scary and it's real. And I think a lot of people are finally seeing like, oh, this isn't a game. This is real life. And even if you want to say that like the Dean, Parker, Harry Sisson, Sissons of the world are faking it when they're saying, whoa, like I disagree. Even if they are, hey, I'll take their fake sympathy over, the celebration. But I don't think that they are faking. We got Morty here. Shout out to Morty. Remember, every donation gets Morty a treat. I think, especially knowing that they are younger, like, their entire political career has been through a screen and they haven't really done, they tried to do that one, lay down more. They tried to do that one thing where, that one live event, but it didn't really go anywhere. And I think it was a stark wake up to a lot of people. And I understand the anger. I understand the frustration. And I'm right there with you. But the fact of the matter is most people disagree with what happened. Most people are not cheering along what happened. Most people are, even if they hate Charlie Kirk and Trump and us for just supporting Trump, they are seeing that and being like, oh, that ain't me. And I think it's a perfect time to take back the narrative. And I hate to talk about it in such a strategic way. Of course, we lost a human being, but the world marches on. The world marches on. And do we want to go forth with more violence or less violence? And I know what I choose. Shout out to Arrow, starting off the show with the $2. No question, no comment, just pure love of the puppy. Thank you so very, very much. That is our first super chat, and out of 15 and $2 out of 50. Remember, if we hit the goal, I gotta do push-ups and lose these puny arms. We also got Guanteg. Welcome. So like and shared. Very good to see you. Of course, those are both very easy and free for you guys to do and help out the channel so much. It doesn't even matter if you think anybody's going to click on the link. Just by you telling YouTube, X, or Rumble that you want more people to see it, they will show it to more people. Thank you so very, very much, and welcome to the party. And of course, we got Daniel Cabrera. Welcome. Long time no see. My goodness. Welcome. So let's dive right into this. We got a lot to talk about, and I think this is going to be more of a background, and this is more about a conversation with you guys. And so we have the panel here, but this is more about a conversation with you guys about, am I wrong that we do need to start enacting violence? Am I or am I exactly right? And do we need to come together and make sure that it doesn't get any worse than it needs to be? I think that we should be trying to de-escalate, but I kind of want there to be retribution. It's hard to keep appealing to our better natures. I completely agree. Like I want to see some type of accountability, but I'm not willing to move on that principle that we are better than them because of the fact that we have better ideas. They didn't need to. If they had better ideas, they wouldn't need to use guns. Yeah, none of this is easy. And yeah, thank you. So let's dive right in. And again, this is this is a sounding board. We already did a panel stream, so I know we got to get out most of our stuff. But again, this is, by next week, I want to be able to move on as Charlie would want us to do. But I'm not there yet. So let's dive right in. As always, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me.
A lot of different views here on politics we've all had over many years. I'm sure we're all joined by the same view that this is an absolutely appalling thing to have happened, and that the consequence of it could be very far-reaching. Dave Rubin, let me start with you. This is a cold-blooded, deliberate, pre-planned execution of a high-profile conservative who, irony of ironies, was the guy probably leading the charge to sit down with people whose views you don't agree with.
Yeah, wait till they find out that he was the moderate one. He was the nice one. They don't want what's coming next.
In other words, almost the opposite of what this shooter appears to believe that he represented. What is your reaction to it?
Well, Piers, before we do the political side of this, I just lost a friend. My friend was assassinated, a man who I spent an awful lot of time with, who I broke bread with many times, who I sat at weddings with, who I toured with and did many of these college shows with, a man who, as I was leaving the left about a decade ago and realizing the hysteria of the progressives, who welcomed me, even though we had various different opinions on very closely held things like abortion and marriage and taxes and death penalty and all of these things. And in the 10 years or so that I knew Charlie Kirk, I never had one bad experience with him. I had only good experiences.
And that's it too. Like we get so sucked into this world of politics and online beefs and all that stuff that we forget that, like, again, it's real life. And this is just a part of that life. These are, we have loved ones, we have hobbies, we have TV shows that we like. It's not all, this isn't all there is. And I don't know. I'm letting you guys know now. I will not be at my best today.
With him. To your point about the political part of this, yes, Charlie was better at reaching across the aisle than anyone. I like to think that I'm pretty good at it, but as an apostate from the left, someone who left the left, in some sense, they want less to do with me than even someone like him. So
well, maybe because you're a little bit more of a grifter, but we'll put that aside. Shout out to JL. Welcome. So when the governor said he didn't want it to be one of us, some people are interpreting this as he didn't want it to be a white guy. Do you think that people are overreacting? Yes. Very obviously, we're talking about it was a political thing. So our side of the political aisle. Of course, people are going to go there because this is indefensible. So they have to find some way to twist it, to moralize it, and let them still be the good side. You can murder somebody and whatever, but call somebody racist, and that's the end of the world.
In some sense, they want less to do with me than even someone like him. So it became harder for me to reach across the aisle. Charlie spent his life trying to widen the tent that is the conservative movement. He wanted the ex-liberals like me and Elon Musk and Joe Rogan and Tulsi Gabbard and RFK, the thing that Donald Trump represents in a wide tent MAGA movement, because it's based in America and freedom. And
he succeeded. I mean, how many of us will work towards something our entire lives and maybe not get there? 31, he is gone, but he succeeded. JL said, I got gaslit at my school for saying he didn't deserve to get killed. And guess what? Someone called me a race traitor. That's all there is. That's why they are returning to violence. And it's just a matter of us to be better than that. That's why we are better, because we don't do that.
I don't know anyone, literally anyone on earth, who was doing it better than him. So I mourn deeply for my friend, and I mourn for America, because in your intro, you laid it out correctly. There's a lot of anger right now. There's a lot of sadness. I can assure you of that, but there's a lot of anger. And I feel it's incumbent on me, and hopefully guys like you, Piers, to be a little bit better right now, because otherwise this very precious experiment could veer out of control unbelievably quickly.
I think that's completely right.
We have to be better. Like, that's the only option. Because otherwise, like I said before, your brothers, your friends, your neighbors will get gunned down. You don't want that, and they don't want that. But at least we understand that nobody wants that.
Right. Cenk, you and I have talked a lot about the toxic nature of political discourse in America. And you've been very critical of the woke left, actually, in particular, and the way they've over-demonized everyone, calling everybody Hitler, fascist, and so on. It seems that this 22-year-old shooter had anti-fascist insignia on his ammunition.
Surprise, surprise.
It's pretty clear, I think, that he hated Charlie Kirk and wanted to silence him. We don't know his exact political allegiance. That may or may not emerge in the next few hours and days. But certainly he was behaving like a fascist. A fascist at their heart will stifle dissent by murdering people.
And Arrow, I don't think you're entirely wrong. I was saying it's because there's no mosh pits to let it out. They don't do mosh pits. They don't go out and party. They don't. This generation is stuck inside and live their life through a screen, and it's stunted them badly.
This is exactly what this person has done in the absurd guise of being anti-fascist.
Yeah. So
when are they going to update that their technology so that there's not a 9-second delay? I'm some schmuck in my living room, and I can. We got instant, and they got cable news delay there. Come on, what are we doing?
Yeah. So I think that this is a huge problem in America right now. So to the point that Dave's making, look, so Dave changed some of his opinions and didn't change others, right? I didn't change any of my opinions, but Charlie and I had many conversations. He came.
That's Facebook for you. And I was with. Might be a right-wing conspiracy, but not that we definitely have proof of that. It was a conspiracy.
I'm on the Young Turks at the Republican National Convention and the Democratic National Convention. I went to America Fest. I got a lot of heat for going to America Fest, but the part of that's left out is that Charlie invited me to it. And not because I had changed any of my opinions, but because I hadn't changed any of my opinions. And then once we had those conversations, what we found out was, yes, we still deeply disagree on many things. State of race relations, power.
Then why aren't you in favor of this, Jake?
Or dynamics in America. I could go on and on, right?
Oh, because you're not insane. You might be a little out there, but you're not psychotic.
But it turns out we actually did agree on a bunch of things. Housing, paid family leave, how the American people are being taken advantage of by the powerful, corruption, all these things. So you don't get to there unless you have conversations. So I know some on the right certainly were shutting down conversations earlier in my lifetime. Still some today are making that argument. And in their anger today, and then justifiable anger, some were talking about striking back. And then on our side.
And shout out to Liberty Plus TV. We were definitely getting a little heated on Twitter because I think that we're, seeing this in different ways. And I think a lot of people are just getting too emotional. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be emotional. You should definitely be emotional, but you can't let that overtake your logic. And not specifically Liberty Plus, but love you too, man. I hope it came through. Again, that's another reason why I hate conversations on X. But it really sounds like like we just need to take a step back. But let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm always willing to be wrong.
Yes, there's way too much censoring, way too much. Never talk to anyone else. Just stick within your own tribe. Well, how are we ever going to heal a country, especially if you're from the left, guys?
You can't.
We're supposed to be the side that has empathy. I'm not saying the right doesn't. I'm just saying that we historically have prided ourselves on having empathy and reaching out and having conversations.
I like that little caveat there that, it is such that the left is supposed to be the party of tolerance, and that coming from somebody on the left, it is nice to say, I'm not saying that it's not the right, but we are supposed to be that party. And clearly we are not embodying that.
Ourselves on having empathy and reaching out and having conversations and healing and uniting. So the way that this country is going and both sides are going is a deep, deep problem. And one of the issues, Piers, honestly, is media and algorithms. It rewards extremists. And the more extreme you are, the more rewarded you are. And so we've got a way to fix that. If we don't fix it, the money and the spinning out of control of both sides' political fervor is going to be an enormous problem for this country. We've got to stop right now. Look, either we could use this moment to hate each other more, or we could use this moment as an inflection point to begin to heal and to unite and realize that we're all Americans together. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing, and we can say that fervently without crossing the line into hating each other thinking that both sides are Nazis of some sort. And you're right, Piers, even I've gotten called a Nazi by some portions of the left for disagreeing on trans issues 5%. No, that's too much, guys. It isn't about me. It's about the hatred that gets built in and entrenched when we can't even talk to the other side and we can't see each other as fellow Americans.
Batty, I want to play a clip. This is a Charlie Kirk on Piers Morgan Uncensored in November 2023.
Damn, Ruben. Wait, can I say something? No, shut up. Just shut up.
I want to play a clip. This is a Charlie Kirk on Piers Morgan Uncensored in November 2023. At the time, we just had the start of the Israel-Hamas war. I've been defending Israel's right to defend itself at that stage. I've obviously become a lot more critical in this year, certainly. But at the time, he talked very pertinently about actually the left, and in particular in relation to campus colleges. Let's take a look.
So real quick, guys, I'm not going to be bringing like they have a little compilation of people celebrating stuff, but I don't want to platform that stuff because we know it's out there. You've seen it. I don't see. I've showed some of it on my own stream already. I just don't feel any benefit comes from looking at crazy people being crazy. I don't think that represents the average person, and I don't think that is going to de-escalate anything. I think that's only going to turn the temperature up. So, I mean, there's definitely a bunch of things, and like I said, there's a compilation in this of some people dancing and celebrating and stuff. But yeah, I'm not going to show any more of that than we need to because you know what it is. You know what it is.
The very same people who've been behaving in this way, effectively supporting a terror group, have gone out of their way to deplatform.
That's the right way. Have a laugh at them. That's what you do with that.
Effectively supporting a terror group, have gone out of their way to deplatform and shame and cancel anyone who, mainly on the right, it has to be, so on the conservative side, who've deviated from their worldview. So free speech to them seems a very complex issue.
Shout out to Semper. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you, sir. How are you doing? Oh, wait, hold on, JL. I was just looking at the title. Okay, if they're getting fired, then we could definitely watch that. We could definitely watch that. Let's do a little side quest. I thought it was just, another one of someone
fired from
celebrating. But this I will watch. Full screen.
Fired from my fucking job. I was just fired from my job. I was just fired from my job. I was just fired from my fucking job. I was just fired from my fucking job. Now I have nothing but this. I have nothing but this website. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing anymore. Ah! Ah! Ah!
Should have thought about that before you were a retard. What kind of...
No!
This is what you deserve. What did you think was going to happen? What did you think was going to happen? And I've seen multiple pages of people, not necessarily doxing, but just being like, here are the people that are doing this. And I'm not going to go out there and do that. But I'm sure as shit not going to, make a fuss over it. Like, you put that out publicly. Yep. Absolutely disgraceful. So what a great Discord server you got. Did you build that yourself? I did not. If you guys are looking to build your own, then hit up Semper. He can build one for you. I live for these moments. Except, is it wrong that I'm enjoying it? Not even a little bit. F-A-F-O. Thank you, JL, for that side quest. Let's dive right back in here.
So free speech to them seems a very complex issue.
No, that's right. And look, I mean, we have to be disciplined in how we advocate for dialogue and free speech. And when I go to these college campuses, it's come very clear, and you see this now manifesting in some of the larger censorship regime that is taking over the West, that if a young student...
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that. Like, yeah, I would be like, God damn. But I mean, I did just get fired a couple weeks ago. And that night, I came up and I didn't even talk about it. I wish I would have gotten to the volume a little bit earlier. I apologize to your ears if that that, but I should have expected leftist screaming to be that grating. But yeah, that's it would have to be something pretty severe. But of course, we know that because it is on camera, it is performative.
In some of the larger censorship regime that is taking over the West, that if a young student finds disagreement with a conservative or somebody on the right, they don't just find the ideas objectionable. Some, in fact, a majority by a recent Pew poll, want to use force to try to silence and stifle and even censor those differing ideas.
I mean, how prescient, Batty, those comments seem now, because that's exactly what has happened
Benny.
here.
Benny just randomly shows up on the
what's your reaction to Charlie's murder, and how do you feel about the way things may go from here?
Thank you so much for having me, Pierce. It's obviously still very raw for a lot of us. I'm finding myself very caught between, on the one hand, wanting to honor his legacy of unity through debate and coming together to take down the temperature, and then wanting to honor his legacy of telling the truth. And the truth is, this is not a both sides issue. The killer killed him, according to police reports, because
the camera was on, and that was not an accident. It is not an accident. Normal people, if you're going to freak out like that, the first thing you're going to do is cover the camera, turn off the camera, and do whatever. Nope, it was... This is all I have! Performance.
The killer killed him, according to police reports, because he found Charlie Kirk to be spreading hate. This is a view shared by every single prominent Democrat. Yes, there are people on Blue Sky advocating for violence, but what actually caused this was the utterly quotidian, utterly ubiquitous demonization of the political opposition from the left. And it has just led to violence because they said the other side were Hitler and Nazis. They said that speech is violence. To combine those two things together is to sign the death warrant of prominent conservatives. And that is what we are seeing again and again and again. And it is utterly facetious to suggest that there is any comparison between political violence on both sides. Every example they bring is not actually showing that, whether it's Governor Shapiro, whose attempted assassination was from a Free Palestine leftist, or whether it was the Minnesota assassinations, which were from somebody who said he was operating at the behest of Democrat Governor Tim Walz. There is a culture among Democrats at the highest level to suggest that their political opposition are a danger, and that suggests that their lives are forfeit. And I want to come together. I do. I love what Shank said. It brought tears to my eyes. I had to reach for a tissue while you were playing Charlie's words. But at the same time, we cannot unite with people who are lying to our faces about who we are, who will not take responsibility for the fact that they suggested that we are Nazis because of totally legitimate views that reflect the majority of Americans. So what I say is, let the left say we were wrong. It is legitimate to vote for Donald Trump. It is legitimate to be pro-life. It is legitimate to believe that there are only two genders. And we were wrong to suggest that that was not the case. We were wrong to say that that is hateful. When they say that, I am waiting with open arms to take down the temperature.
That's a very, very good point. That at this point, where we're seeing so much celebration, it makes a lot of sense to be like, well, fuck you, fight fire with fire, and all of that. But what happens? What happens if over the next week we see a huge condemnation, not just from other normal people, but from the politicians? If it really is the wake-up call, and we really can turn down the temperature, is it too late, or what then?
Lewis Goodall, you are on the left.
Oh, I did the wrong timing on the goal there. So of course it will arrows of course will count. I'm gonna reset it there. But again, guys, keep the party raging. Keep me bulked up.
Open arms to take down the temperature.
Lewis Goodall, you are on the left. And the one thing that's really struck me about this, I don't dispute for a moment that there are people on the far right that commit a lot of acts of violence and can be equally hateful.
Check out that swole goal at the top of the chat, please.
It's my personal view. But I have been truly shocked, genuinely truly shocked, by the sheer enormity of brazen, dehumanized calls on social media from people on the woke left, the sort of far left, which has been call themselves progressive, but in my view are the opposite. But
progressive, more like regressive. I said, ideally, Turning Point will pick up the torch, but everyone is in their feelings because it was a violent death. Yeah, and I mean, just see, human brains are not meant to see things like that. I mean, if you want to go back and like speak evolutionarily, yeah, there was the grit of being on the hunting grounds, but another person seeing another person like that is not something that a human brain is wired to easily calculate. But I do agree that Turning Point is going to be stronger than it ever was before. Liberty Plus said if they turn down the temperature, the left will just continue what they have been doing. This happens everywhere. This cancerous ideology takes hold. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Been call themselves progressive, but in my view are the opposite. But how they've reacted to Charlie Kirk's death, we've got a little mashup of some of it.
So this is all we're gonna do. This is all we're gonna do with the death celebrations. It's part of the show, so in case you haven't seen anything, it is important to know that it's out there. But don't send me any other videos of people celebrating.
Ding dong, the witch is dead.
We think that Charlie Kirk just got shot in the neck. Hey, ooh, ah, ooh.
I would say pour one out for Kirky boy, but I don't waste good beer on little bitches.
Charlie Kirk just got put down like a fucking dog in Utah, and I
notice how they all look just like dirty and grungy. Like, what are you doing?
On little
like I get insecure about my split ends. Like, god damn, bro.
Bitches.
Charlie Kirk just got put down like a fucking dog in Utah, and I could not be happier.
I will not ever feel bad when bad people get what the fuck they deserve.
Fucking stoked right now. You want to know why I'm so fucking stoked?
Fucking yeah!
CK got AK, and he's gone.
He did say that gun deaths were an acceptable side effect of gun rights.
A lot of people have been bringing that up. It's like, yeah, that means that he would agree that even though he died, like, are you thinking that if he was alive, he would be like, okay, just kidding, guys, because I was going to die, then nobody should have guns. Is that what you think? Is that what you think? He actually stood on what he believed. And I don't know how you would think. Well, maybe it's because they would completely flip on their positions if it ever came to them. That's probably why. Nick said, I love this community. One of the biggest reasons is even if we strongly disagree on something, we still put respecting each other above our disagreements. You, ladies and gentlemen, are awesome. Dilly to you guys. Oh, you guys are so sweet. I love you guys too. I'm not kidding. That week when I had that strike, it was not easy. It was not easy. I missed you guys. I'm pretty sure. I'm not positive it's the same dude, but I'm pretty sure this guy was on campus somewhere doing this, and I saw a video of him get the shit beat out of him.
Right.
We got Charlie in the neck.
What do you mean we? You didn't do shit. You didn't do shit.
There are hundreds, thousands, maybe more examples like this, but we've seen teachers, we've seen hospital executives, we've seen people who want to run places like the Oxford University Union, for example, and so on, all coming out with similar gleeful celebration at the murder
Same.
of a 31-year-old father of two young children. I find it utterly
actually, JK, I don't have any.
but also quite terrifying, actually, that they're so brazenly doing this. What is your reaction to that?
Well, my reaction is that I think it's reprehensible. And I think it is part of a much wider pattern of behavior driven by partly social media, but in particular the hyperpolarization of American politics, which is part of a big trend of legitimizing violence, of making violence an acceptable means of prosecuting your politics. Where I would disagree, possibly.
Well, this guy's talking. Gomtech just dropped this in the Discord.
With you, possibly with other members of the panel, is that this is somehow just confined to...
I mean, you guys have seen this meme before, right? The Overton window of the me being in the same spot all the way, and where the conservatives, 2008, you're over here, but by a fast forward, and the left just keeps going left, and now the center's here. So by virtue, you become far right.
What?
Yep.
possibly with you, possibly with other members of the panel, is that this is somehow just confined to the left, or the idea that this is just happening on the left. Yes, there have been examples of that. We've just seen it just now. I was disgusted at the reaction to what happened with Luigi Manzioni earlier in the year. Very similar sort of phenomenon.
Yeah.
But let's see where it's happened in other parts of the right. Do you remember what happened with Paul Pelosi, for example? Nancy Pelosi's husband almost killed to death. What was the reaction of not just some random left-wing accounts, not some teacher, not whatever, but Don Jr., Donald Trump Jr. He decided to put out a picture of a hammer and some underpants and say, I've got my Paul Pelosi Halloween costume tonight. This is the wider legitimization of violence that we're seeing. And let's just have a look. I mean,
I don't disagree. I think there is, maybe this is not the time, but when, I have brought up before that, like, that is a slightly different situation because it was just like weird circumstances. So the joke was that, like, what's going on here? Not that Paul Pelosi got hurt. The circumstances were funny. Not that he got hurt. I said I was in Europe when JFK was assassinated. It affected my mother very much, hence my apathy toward the political. I bet you're right. I bet you are right. Shout out to Adam. Welcome to the fire. Said Dave Rubin was on fire today. Did I say welcome to the fire? Welcome to the party. Dave Rubin was on fire. I told you I'm not going to be at my best. Welcome. Let's see it.
This is the wider legitimization of violence that we're seeing. And let's just have a look. I mean, let's talk about some accounts that I've been looking at. You've been horrified what you've seen on Twitter, some stuff I've seen on Blue Sky, some stuff I've seen on X over the course of the last 24 hours. Liberals can never be allowed to run this country again. How can you coexist with people that want to murder you? If you vote Democrat at this point, you're a demonic, evil person.
It's just objectively, even if you're not going to say it's objectively hilarious, it's objectively quirky and weird. That's it.
Want to murder you. If you vote Democrat at this point, you're a demonic, evil person. I will support whatever saves our country. Trump has a blank check as far as I'm concerned. I could go on, and I could go on. And I could give a list of all of the many occasions we've seen in recent years of right-wing, hard right, far-right terrorism that we saw against what happened in Minnesota. I mentioned Paul Pelosi, Josh Shapiro. In fact, I disagree. Just as a matter of fact, investigators found in the Shapiro case online activity and writings that included extreme right-wing, anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and rhetoric against Shapiro, who is, of course, Jewish and a Democrat, and in Michigan. And even in the last 24 hours or so, what do we see from Laura Loomer on Ilhan Omar, the Democratic congresswoman, Laura Loomer being a very senior MAGA person? At the end of the day, everyone needs to realize that Ilhan Omar is a bloodthirsty Muslim terrorist sympathizer who has no place in our country. Her presence in Congress is a national security threat, and she's an enemy from within. So please.
I don't even disagree, but he is making a good point. I don't even disagree, but he with the things. Who was it, Laura Loomer or MTG or whoever he was quoting? But that is pretty extreme language. No, it's not just you, brother. It's not just you at all. Like, I've been random stuff today has just like hit me, and I'm like, God damn. So yeah, it's not just you.
The idea that there is some sort of asymmetry on this. The fact of the matter is, America and indeed the UK as well, we've got into a really negative cycle here where basically the temperature goes up and it goes up and it goes up. And then sometimes some of the people who are responsible for that turn around and go, God, I can't believe it's so hot in here. Everyone needs to pull back from the brink. Social media needs to actually be reformed and needs to be changed. Elon Musk has been pretty responsible for some of this stuff that we've seen as well. So let's not pretend. If we pretend that this is just a problem of the left or of liberalism or of wokeism or whatever you want to say, this problem is not going to be any better or get any better.
I agree with that, and it's not. I haven't been thinking like that because I'm on the defense as much as it didn't happen to me. It happened to somebody that I look up to. But he's right. Does anybody disagree that there is a lot of extreme rhetoric on both sides?
Let's use this as a moment for all of us to look within ourselves and decide to be better.
Okay, we've been joined on the panel by PBD podcast Angry Patriot, Vincent O'Shannell. Vinny, great to have you back on our Censored. I'm sorry it's in such awful circumstances that we're talking on this Friday. But your response to what Lewis Goodall's just said, that this is a problem on all sides, that political violence has been ratcheting up and that there's a collective issue that needs to be dealt with.
Well, Piers, thank you for having me, and hello to everybody on the panel. Piers, I'm sorry, but trying to compare a photo of a Pelosi hammer for a Halloween thing to somebody getting shot in the neck in front of his family at a campus is unbelievable. The fact that you're trying to make the two comparison is...
I don't think he was trying to make that comparison. I agree that would be a ridiculous comparison. I think what the guy in the bottom center here was saying is that it's not just the left that needs to turn shit down. And I agree.
absurd. Okay, and if we want to, since you're on the left and you have those beliefs, give me something that the left is positive about. Because from what we're seeing, they're pro-abortion, they're pro-celebrating assassination, they're pro-open border. Give me something positive that the left is running on. Because at the end of the day, they're the Democrats' 35-year low approval rating. And Piers, I have to go a little bit deeper. I have to go. This isn't about left. This isn't about right. Charlie was a proponent. He was a Christian praising Jesus Christ everywhere that he went. And I think that's where we are, Piers. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12 says, "For we not wrestle with flesh and blood." Piers, it's principalities, it's evil, it's dark forces in high places. And
the atheist agrees.
It drives me crazy, Piers, that we've gotten to this point. And when Tim Walz and these people are like, well, I woke up, I wanted to hear bad news. Hearing TMZ lying when their freaking people are back there cheering.
Have you guys seen that? The TMZ thing? That was wild. Again, I'm not showing anything that is any type of celebration, but you could hear the cheering in the background when TMZ was reporting on it. And then they were like, no, actually people were cheering about a car chase. And then people actually found the car chase. And guess what happened on the car chase? They were announcing Charlie Kirk's death. So yes, they were absolutely celebrating. Shout out to Bryson. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Said, dealt with. Bring this closer to authoritative rule. Maintain composure. Dilly to that, brother. Dilly to that. Don't let the terrorists win. Adam said, life is like a pendulum. Right now, we see more of it comes from the left, but generally, conservative-minded people will condemn that shit fast. I agree. But that has certainly been not the case. I didn't hear anybody say, oh, Laura Loomer, you shouldn't talk about Ilhan Omar like that. Again, I don't even disagree that she is that bad of a person. But maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's the problem. Also, those stupid punch holes. Did anyone study the propositions on their conviction? No, they did not. It's just for the little sticker. Virtue signaling. Oh, we all know about virtue signaling. Shout out to Kelly Green. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Very good to see you, brother. How are you doing? How are you doing? Let's dive back in.
Hearing TMZ lying when their freaking people are back there cheering of a murder of a guy that did what, Piers? He went to college campuses. He was peaceful. He just wanted to have a debate, a conversation. And it is the left. Okay, when Joe Biden got diagnosed with colon cancer, who was celebrating? How many thousands of people were out there praying and hoping for this guy to recover?
But again, to the, I don't know his name, but the center guy's point, I think that is exactly what he's saying. That yes, the left absolutely does this, but let's not pretend that the pattern of escalating rhetoric isn't on both sides. If you want to address an issue, you have to understand what it really is. And you can't, like everybody is agreeing. There's definitely extreme rhetoric on both sides, but I think we can see that one side seems to act on it. For now. Until when? That's the point. Until when?
Okay, no, there's something that's captured here. That image, that montage that you played, did you see the eyes of these people?
Yeah.
They are captured by something dark, and they don't even know it, Piers. That's where we are. And I want to say something, Piers, before I give it back. Charlie was not murdered. He was martyred. And I want to say this in the Bible, and I'm sorry, I never was this guy, Piers, but we're at the tipping point. We are here. We have to understand that it's God or you're on the opposite side. And Revelation.
That is not good rhetoric either, but we'll save that for another day. Again, from Arrow, another $2. Thank you so very, very much. Of course, every donation comes with a treat for the Overlord Morty. Guys, that is 2 out of 15 and 4 out of $50. Let's hit that goal. Thank you so very, very much, Arrow.
We are here. We have to understand that it's God or you're on the opposite side. And Revelation chapter 6, verse 9-10 basically says, when a martyr's blood hits the throne of heaven, it turns the vengeance of the king towards the evil ones on earth. So for all the people that want to get mad and do something, stay calm and be easy, because God, at the end of the day, Piers, has vengeance on all these people that are spilling innocent blood.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. Fine. If that's the way that you get to nonviolence, then I am with it. I said I gotta go get laid. Oh, you get it in, girl. You get it in. There you go.
Because God, at the end of the day, Piers, has vengeance on all these people that are spilling innocent blood.
Are you really saying that the American right, the Trump right, MAGA, has not got a problem with political violence?
Well, yeah. What political violence? I mean, violent rhetoric, sure. What violence has come from the MAGA right?
Are you comparing? Wait, are you comparing us, who, by the way,
No, I'm asking
for
whether
how many years? That's 10 years. Hold on. Are you comparing the two? Hold on. I'm not saying that the right doesn't get violence, but show me where they're celebrating the murder of a father on a campus. Give it to me. Who celebrate Luigi Mangione, where he's in magazines and girls want to marry him and want to be with him?
No, you just have the president of the United States son. You just have the president of the United States son tweeting out a picture of a hammer, making fun of a guy who nearly got killed because of a right-wing maniac. Please do not tell me that somehow one side is more morally superior than the other. This is not.
No.
And just while we're talking about, excuse me, sir. While we're talking about political violence,
doing the assassination?
What about January the 6th? What about January the 6th?
And there we go. Back to January 6th. Who died on January 6th? Oh, yes. Ashley Babbitt. Context said the best outcome we can probably see coming out of this is that eventually both political parties will understand that there are a lot of people out there who just want to watch everything burn. Once both parties can acknowledge, then we can condemn it as a whole. This has gone way past politics at this point. We're talking about the end of polite society if this keeps going. Agreed. And that is the reason that I am still at this point saying it can't just be all-out war, because there's no coming back from that. And if it gets there, and I feel like that is where we need to I'll tell you guys. But I personally don't believe that we are anywhere close to that. We're getting closer, sadly closer, but I don't think we're there yet.
Who's doing the murdering? Who is doing the assassination?
What about January the 6th? What about January the 6th, where a MAGA mob decided to try to use violence to overthrow democracy? That is the definition of the legitimization of violence in the political process.
How many people, excuse me, since you're such an American historian, how many people died on January 6th? One, Ashley Babbitt, a fellow United States Air Force, excuse me, let me finish. A United States Air Force veteran got shot subsequently in her freaking neck. Why? Hold on. Why? Because she was unarmed and she was advancing to a hall. Please, I'm 100% with you. I don't condone.
Yeah, I was with the guy when he's saying, look, this is not a purely left-wing issue. Agreed. But when you're talking about January 6th, like that's not the same thing, man. That's not what we're talking about here. You can have that conversation if you want to have that conversation. That's not what this is.
Any violence, but the comparison is not even close to what the left does.
So let's have some statistics from your own government. Let's have some statistics from your own government. These are your own government statistics. Now, I know you might not want to listen to the facts, but this is the facts. A study from US government itself says that the majority of political violence in the United States occurs from the right, not the left, from the right. We have all.
Okay, and how are we determining violence? Well, words? Then yeah, I bet so. I bet it is, because people are finally allowed to feel like they can speak their mind, but that is absolutely not the case. Literally said the end of polite society is already coming if the left stays in control. Do you understand how much more horrifying communism is? To answer your question, honestly, no, I don't, and I don't want to find out. But the left is not in power, and I think, to my earlier point, this kind of stuff is going to prevent them from getting power anytime soon. And so the sad thing that these people are not having a Socratic debate, but raising their stock in spheres of influence. Yeah, and I mean that is the way it goes, right? And if we are going to be paying attention to this stuff, if we're going to be listening to this stuff and use this as how we move forward, it's important to understand that this is what it is, and this may be we're not going to get a Socratic debate on the ills of political rhetoric, at least not anytime soon. And that's precisely why we need to de-escalate.
Also seen in my own country what happened with the assassination of a Labour MP, Joe Cox. We saw what happened.
I love how Vinny will just like scream over you, be like, excuse me, let me finish. Like, bro, come on.
In Norway with Anders Behring Breivik, all violence on the right. I do not say, as you seem to say, sir, that one side or other is morally superior to the other. I do not say that there will not be political violence on one side or the other. What seems, and I find curious, is your belief,
because he gets that angry at everything. That's why.
Further, that somehow one side of this debate is uniquely morally repugnant and one is superior. The statistics are wrong.
They don't call him the angry patriot for nothing.
That's not right. Doesn't support what you're saying. And the fact after fact after fact, and occasion after occasion after occasion shows the same thing. And like I say, January the 6th itself was literally the legitimization from your side.
All right, every time they bring up January 6th, we're going to drink.
Side of political violence at the highest of levels. And what did Donald Trump do?
I mean, that's the end of the debate. That's the end of the debate. If you want to talk about which side is worth worse with political violence, you bring up January 6th. You lost. You lost.
When he got back into office, he pardoned them all, sending a message that political violence is fine.
Were you, excuse me, are you in the United States? Are you an American citizen?
I just returned to the United States, as a matter of fact, but I don't need to be in the United States.
Okay, so wait, are you an American citizen?
No, don't know what that's got to do with the price of fish.
Are you an American citizen?
Nope.
No, I want to ask you a question because you're looking down here reading stats and facts, and I don't know where the hell your sources are from. But guess what? As an American, from seeing what they did, excuse me, I let you talk. Please let me talk.
No, you didn't, Manny. Bryson said I'm both liberal and a conservative, not in politics, in life. This is a good example why. There you go. There you go. What's everybody drinking? Well, I am drinking my own brew. If somebody would like to sponsor me, I will drink whatever you put in here. But for now, I'm drinking the Indian Jesus juice. Pause. Yeah, like that's not an argument if we're talking about political it is still political violence. Just because a political figure didn't die. I mean, what political figure died yesterday? Nobody. So, Larry said I'm drinking liberal tears. Lowenbrow. Is that a scotch? I've heard of that before, but I don't remember. We got vodka tonic. There we go. Adam said, I've lived long enough to see it come from both sides. I remember when right-wing people were blowing up abortion clinics in the 90s. Yep. I had a long time ago, one of the first interviews I did was with somebody who was on the book podcast I did before The Indian Jesus. And he was somebody who is an atheist, former Christian, who was at those types of things and did go and, I don't think he blew up an abortion, but was going to scream at them and all that shit. And it's like, God damn. I agree now that you shouldn't be doing that, but blowing up abortion clinics, not the way to go.
American, from seeing what they did, excuse me, I let you talk. Please let me talk, okay? From what you mean to tell me what the left, your darling left, has done to the Republican Party and Donald Trump alone for 10 years, the calling for violence, the Hitler, like Batya said, all the negative rhetoric, to the impeachment, to shooting him in the head, and him saying, I want peaceful protesting, and then the FBI informants, all the confidential human resources inside the freaking car on January 6th, that's a whole different argument, debate that you don't want to get into. But as an American who lives in America and is a veteran, we see what's happening. I don't care about your ChatGPT stats. The left is the party that is inciting the violence and causing the problem.
Okay. I mean, that is a good way to twist it, that you don't care about facts, but you're just taking these flat numbers, and we see all the time how it is proven that the numbers don't always tell the story. Yes, those numbers are important. It's important to understand the studies, but that doesn't tell the whole story. Guys, we're gonna take a break real quick. If you guys are enjoying the show, the party rages on 24/7 over in our Discord. The link is pinned to the top of the chat and is absolutely free to join 24/7. We're in there hanging out, having a great time. And guys, it is absolutely free. However, if you are a member of this channel here on YouTube, you can scroll right below that video and hit that join button. Starts at $2.99. There's a few different tiers, but $2.99 will get you in. It gets you members only live streams here on YouTube, all that other good stuff. But it opens up the full Discord server. So we've got the free chat that is open to anyone. Anybody can join and talk. But as you can see, that is just one of our channels. There's a bunch of different channels here, including our Disciple chat for members only, our Word of the Day watch party, where we're talking about all this stuff. And of course, we have the voice channel here, where we are hanging out at this moment in the after party. Shout out to everybody in the Discord server. Say hello and tell them to come and join.
Hello, come and join.
There you go, guys. Simple as that. See you there. And again, remember, guys, it is for members only, that after party you just saw. But if you click the link before the end of the stream, you get a day pass. And we had, I'm pretty sure, the biggest after party that we have ever had last night. And it was quite the entertaining conversation. So a bunch of you guys in there, and very good to see you. It's a great place 24/7. Like I said, we're hanging out, sharing stuff, and that's how we build community. That's how we prevent stuff like this and build a coalition that can change our society. So join up.
Left is the party that is inciting the violence and causing the problem.
Okay, I want to bring in another guest now who will then join the panel for the rest of the show. Konstantin Kisin, author and host of trigonometry. Constantine, I've seen.
How do we feel about Constantine? Let's just give it the binary. What? Whoa. You've never had a dogfish head? Oh, actually, you know what? That I forgot the dogfish head was in Jersey, so that would, you know, it does sound like a jam band. But yeah, we got that everywhere because it's a Jersey beer. But yeah, how do we feel about Constantine? Give me a 1 if you like him, and a 2 if you don't like him. 2 is you don't like him.
The show, Constantine Kissin, author and host of Trigonometry. Constantine, I've seen from your posts that you've been very personally affected by the death of Charlie Kirk. Where does this horrific murder leave us in relation to political discourse and the safety of public figures as a consequence?
Do you know, Piers, I don't know if I've been personally affected, but I know that I've received messages from hundreds of people at this point, ordinary people, many of them nothing to do with politics, never paid attention to politics, never really cared, who were horrified and shocked by this in a very profound way. And I think it's a number of things. You know, you've just had this very fierce discussion about political violence, and we're talking about politicians. But people forget that Charlie was not a politician.
Yup.
This is a 31-year-old guy who went around college campuses, and now his 2 young children. I mean, I was putting my son to bed last night, and I was thinking of his kids. And I know that millions of people around the world are thinking about that because they didn't see Charlie as a politician. Because
this is the trigonometry host.
I guess with America's history of political violence, all the way back to Abraham Lincoln, we kind of know that these things can happen. But I think what this has done is it's taken violence into a whole new realm. It's taken violence into the realm of people who just have conversations, for God's sake. And I think this changes everything in a very profound way. Of course, it has the potential to chill the debate, to scare people away from saying the things that they believe, the things that they think are important to say. I hope that doesn't happen. I know that my experience and the experience of many other people who do speak in public over the last few days has been a shock and horror and perhaps fear too that has morphed into resolve. And
yeah, I mean, like I've been embarrassed. I've been embarrassed to express that, like, you know, I see a bit of myself in what happened because I don't want it to seem like, oh, they might come after me next. Like, nobody's coming after me, but I want to be what Charlie Kirk was. I want to be someone of influence like that. And it's scary to see that that could have been me in 5 years, 10 years, whatever. Bryson said Charlie Kirk had the potential of being a future president. I definitely don't. But yeah, maybe that's why they would never go after me. But it scary stuff.
And an unwillingness to let this become the way that our conversations become silent, which I think is what Charlie would have wanted. But as for the debate we've just heard, look, I'm in a very conciliatory mood, and I think it's important that we're all responsible.
Guys, don't forget about that swoggle. Morty is hungry.
But I found it difficult to sit there and listen to this preposterous conversation you've just had. I don't understand what I mean. This time last year, I sat across from one of your guests, Cenk, on that particular occasion, in which he tried to persuade me for 20 minutes that Donald Trump was a fascist. That's how the left talks about their political opponents. And I'm someone who's not politically affiliated. I'm just looking at the fact.
Well, I mean, that's a stretch. You are definitely politically affiliated. You might not be a politician, but that's like saying, Tim Pool. Well, maybe not Tim Pool, but yeah, you are definitely affiliated with politics. Liberty said, you don't need to be influencing online. This type of violence happens to people all the time. The media just doesn't care unless the person is famous. Very true. Adam said, I said this to my son. We could all be Charlie Kirk is what makes it shocking to the public.
Bingo.
Yep. Yeah. I don't have anything to add to that.
Of what I see. We have had for the last 10 years, what has happened to the word Nazi as a result of the woke left's behavior is completely unacceptable. This is a word that we had for a very specific group of people that was supposed to describe people who believe in National Socialism and fascism. These words have very specific meanings, and the meanings that they have.
Not anymore, thanks to semantic obfuscation. And if you hate semantic obfuscation, you can get your very own t-shirt. You can get a sticker. You can get a button. You can get a mug. You can get a whole bunch of different stuff with this or any of the Indian Jesus official logos and designs or whatever you want to call them. Only at TheIndianJesus.com. Check it out.
Were very important for being able to describe people who are actually of that opinion. And instead, both in America and here across the Atlantic in Britain. We've had, and we're not talking about people on Twitter or people on Blue Sky. I'm talking about David Lammy, who's the current deputy prime minister, talking about a group of conservative Eurosceptics and saying they're worse than Nazis.
Shout out to you, United. Welcome to the party. Yeah, I mean, I don't think people being sniped at public events happening all the time, but I think we're just talking about the level of violence. It's not an uncommon thing. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what liberty meant.
We've had this for a whole decade now, the complete dehumanization of people for simply having political disagreements. And so when I see that the killer of Charlie Kirk had these so-called anti-fascist inscriptions on his ammunition, I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. Of course this would happen. And people like to pretend that this has no consequence. Well, think about it, Piers. You're a man. I'm a man. If you and I thought that...
Why are you assuming?
...fascism was actually here, as we keep being told, wouldn't it be our duty to stand up and fight? So can we really be surprised then when some deranged guy picks up a rifle and shoots someone who people on the media, people on TV keep saying is a fascist, keep saying is a Nazi, is completely irresponsible? And I'll just make one other point on this, because, you know, we've had this conversation. Lewis has talked about, well, there's violence on the left and violence on the right. He's right. Of course, there are deranged people on both sides. In a country with easy access to firearms, there will be that sort of violence like we've seen in our country. It's not just Joe Cox who's been killed in this country. We also had Sir David Ames, an MP, be killed in Britain too. And he was a member of the Conservative Party, killed by an Islamist.
My mouse is stuck. I can't stop anything.
But there's one thing that I've noticed. A great mentor of mine once told me, he said, Konstantin, the greatest insights come from looking at what is not there. Come on. And the one thing I have noticed that hasn't been there in my mind, you tell me if this is different for you, Piers, over the last few days, I've had no expectation that there would be burning, looting, riots in the streets, attacks on police officers across America or Britain or the rest of the West. We haven't seen any of that, and we haven't expected any of that. And that's because political violence has been normalized.
There are no batteries.
Far extremes of the left. And when you see those people celebrating, what they are expressing is now a widely held opinion, particularly among young people on the woke left, that if they don't agree with somebody, if they're not getting their way politically, they're entitled to use violence to achieve their aims. We took cancel culture away from them when Elon Musk took over X and opened up the conversation and forced other social media platforms to open up the conversation. So now, instead of using cancel culture, we've got violence culture, and everybody has to pull back. And I'm not calling for any kind of censorship, because censorship will not solve this. But the people who have spent the last decade calling their political opponents fascist, Nazis, and so on, they have blood on their hands, and they need to look in the mirror now and stop.
Yeah, I mean, Dave Rubin, I've been on this theme for a long time on this show, and I've got a book called, ironically, Woke is Dead, coming out next month. And one of the themes of the book is how radicalized so many on the woke left have become. And I don't for a moment dispute there are people radicalized on the right. But as somebody who used to identify quite happily as a liberal, I found myself completely disassociated from the woke left in a way I just never thought possible, where people on supposedly my side would start to become science deniers, biology deniers, but also develop this incredibly hateful mindset that if you didn't go along with everything that they believed, you would be cancelled, you'd be destroyed, you'd be shamed, you'd be vilified. And now, as we've seen with Charlie Kirk, you will actually be murdered in cold blood simply for having opinions that they don't like. It is, as I said at the start of this, it's unnerving. It's quite scary, actually. And when you see those TikTok videos of them so proudly talking about this, joyously celebrating a murder like that, I really do fear about what is going on.
Well, Piers, it's not even that it's about his actual opinions. It's about the opinions that many thought leaders on the left purport that he has, which are complete lies. So look, I am in somewhat of a reconciliatory mode here. So I'd like to ask Cenk, I have 10 headlines
I'm gonna have to restart
put
my
up
computer.
about Charlie Kirk. They are on his channel right now. And let's see if Cenk believes that these are true. Charlie Kirk says prominent black women took white people's spots. Charlie Kirk boasts about his all-white basketball team. Charlie Kirk gives piggish advice to high school girls. Ex-employee exposes Charlie Kirk's grift. Charlie Kirk embarrasses himself. Charlie Kirk's brain melts explaining anti-vax conspiracy. Charlie Kirk rants about women in their 30s. Charlie Kirk has literally no clue how the real world works. Charlie Kirk gets triggered to
All right, we are. Oh, all right. I'm restarting the computer. Hopefully that will work out. Yeah, the mouse just stopped working. I just have nothing there. Hey, a shout out to Gabriel with the $5. I can't read it here. Hold on. It says, Come on. Your thoughts on the on near future live in-person professional debates in general, moving forward, more or less debates happening. Let's give Morty his treat. Of course, every donation comes with a treat. Thank you so very much. Let's see. Give me 1 second here. We are struggle streaming. I don't know what is going on with my computer, but if anything, I'll just go upstairs and use my laptop. But that's a good question. I mean, I think it is definitely reasonable. You know, Myron Gaines. Mouse working. Mouse is not working. All right, I'm gonna have to. Come on, dude. Why? Why? Let me try one other thing. I'm gonna try to get another mouse from upstairs. But yeah, I you know, Myron Gaines was supposed to have a an event very similar to what Charlie does. I think that was supposed to be today, and I'm pretty sure he canceled it. And was like, I'm not doing that. And I don't blame him one little bit. I don't blame him one little bit. In terms of the future, I think for a little while we might see a hesitancy, but I think people just really care about this stuff, and I think it's going to be really hard to get people to stop doing this stuff. Eventually, I think everybody is going to want to get back to normal life. And I do too. I am definitely, if there's an event somewhere near me, I would like to go to something like that as soon as possible, because I want to show that this one person didn't change anything. Let's see, I got my upstairs mouse. Hell yeah, there we go. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna have to go back and forth, but all right. Jeez, struggle streaming, man. Struggle streaming. What is going on? The mouse just randomly stopped working. Get my light back. All right. Hey. Same thing yesterday, right? We were was it yesterday or was it Thursday that we're just struggling? Oh, right. Oh, my goodness. Jesus. And we are back. Thank you again to Gabriel for the $5. Where were we here? We got equality and deference because of vagina over on Rumble. Yes, indeed. Struggle streaming again. We having issues, but figuring it out on the fly like we always do. Said liked and shared. Thank you so very, very much. Of course, you guys know how much that stuff helps out the show. Even if you don't think that anybody's going to click on the link, just by you telling YouTube, Rumble, or X that you want more people to see the show, they will show it to more people. All right. Let's get back into this. What do we have from you guys? Yeah, I was trying to hit the space bar, and like if I was on this page already, it would have worked, but I wasn't, so it didn't do anything. No batteries. It just plugs into the USB. I've got my pause button, and of course now that is gone. Maybe I can set this to do that. But yeah. Smack the side of your TV. That is happening. Yep. Struggle streaming. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Didn't do shit. Taking the dingle. Neither. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. People, stand by. Thank you so very, very much. Can't dingle the dong, unfortunately. Jill said, I get it, David. What? Who's Griffin Morgan or David? Kind of both. Liberty said Ruben's cooking, but don't eat the special sauce. What else we got? Yeah, I bet it is. Well, I'm freaking the fuck out. All right. All right. Let's dive back in, guys. Thank you for hanging on with me. We are doing, this was playing the whole time, so I don't know where the fuck we were. So I'm just gonna back up a little bit. Yeah.
Trend of legitimizing violence, of making violence an acceptable means of prosecuting your politics. Where
teachers, we've seen hospital executives, we've seen people who want to run places like the Oxford University Union, for example, and so on, all coming out with similar gleeful celebration.
Oh no, we had what's his face on the panel already, right? Yeah, so we're here, and he was.
Expected any of that, and that's because political violence has been normalized on these far extremes of the left. And when you see those people celebrating, what they are expressing is now a widely held opinion, particularly among young people on the woke left, that if they don't agree with somebody, if they're not getting their way politically, they're entitled to use violence to achieve their aims. We took cancel culture away from them when Elon Musk took over X and opened up the conversation and forced other social media platforms to open up the conversation. So now, instead of using cancel culture, we've got violence culture, and everybody has to pull back. And I'm not calling for any kind of censorship, because censorship will not solve this. But the people who have spent the last decade calling their political opponents fascist, Nazis, and so on, they have blood on their hands, and they need to look in the mirror now and stop.
Yeah, I mean, Dave Rubin, I've been on this theme for a long time on this show, and I've got a book called, ironically, Woke is Dead, coming out next month. And one of the themes of the book is how radicalized so many on the woke left have become. And I don't for a moment dispute there are people radicalized on the right. But as somebody who used to identify quite happily as a liberal, I found myself completely disassociated from the woke left in a way I just never thought possible, where people on supposedly my side would start to become science deniers, biology deniers, but also develop this incredibly hateful mindset that if you didn't go along with everything that they believed, you would be cancelled, you'd be destroyed, you'd be shamed, you'd be vilified. And now, as we've seen with Charlie Kirk, you will actually be murdered in cold blood.
In cold blood. It says politics is violence. The left uses violence all the fucking time. Their entire ideology is using violence to socially engineer you into a communist. It's in their books and papers. And that is why we are better than them. That is why they are worse than us. Shout out to Charles Hutto. Welcome. So they didn't just kill Charlie, they killed our tolerance as well. I hope that's not the case. I hope that is not the case. I hope we still have some humanity left, because that is not a world we want to see. Welcome to the party.
And now, as we've seen with Charlie Kirk, you will actually be murdered in cold blood simply for having opinions that they don't like. It is, as I said at the start of this, it's unnerving. It's quite scary, actually. And when you see those TikTok videos of them so proudly talking about this, joyously celebrating a murder like that, I really do fear about what is going on.
Oh, good. They did fire him. Good. He deserved to be fired.
Well, Piers, it's not even that it's about his actual opinions. It's about the opinions that many thought leaders on the left purport that he has, which are complete lies. So look, I am in somewhat of a reconciliatory mode here. So I'd like to ask Cenk, I have 10 headlines here he has put up about Charlie Kirk. They are on his channel right now, and let's see if Cenk believes that these are true. Charlie Kirk says prominent black women took white people's spots. Charlie Kirk boasts about his all-white basketball team. Charlie Kirk gives piggish advice to high school girls. Ex-employee exposes Charlie Kirk's grift. Charlie Kirk embarrasses himself. Charlie Kirk's brain melts explaining anti-vax conspiracy. Charlie Kirk rants about women in their 30s. Charlie Kirk has literally no clue how the real world works. Charlie Kirk.
But I wonder what really, someone who's just saying that Ruben's bringing up good points, but I wonder how this is helpful, because we all, I think the point is that we've all been engaging in this type of rhetoric, and we've all been talking like this. To point out one person, it's like, I don't know if that's helpful.
Kirk gets triggered, declines appearance over pronouns. Charlie Kirk doubles down on women hating backlash. I am telling you, Piers, Charlie Kirk was one of the best human beings I ever met. He did not have a bone of racism, misogyny, or anything else in his body. But liars lie, and they gin up otherwise good people. From the little bit we know about this shooter, he had a stable household, he was going to college, he was fine. We'll find out where he got radicalized. But please, let's not pretend we don't know where this stuff is coming from. And please, let's not pretend that this thing is going both ways, because it is absolutely not. I also have, well, you know what, Cenk, I'll ask you a question directly, actually. Do you think Charlie wanted to be martyred? Do you think Charlie wanted to be martyred? Do you think Charlie wanted to be killed? Yes or no?
Ooh, of course not. What kind of asinine question is that?
Shout out to a real Black Betty. Bam, bam. Welcome to the party. So you watch his wife Erica's speech. Does anybody know where to find that? I would definitely like to see that. Somebody wants to grab a link or just give me a search term. We can definitely check that out. Welcome to the party. So those people have already proven there's no debating or dialogue with them. They are out for blood. Don't be ignorant to a war of good and evil. Jay said, Ruben, killing it. Peace speech isn't going to fix the left. I mean, I agree with all of this stuff. I agree with all of this stuff. Well, I mean, I agree with all of this stuff about, they are so far gone and stuff. But the question then is, okay, so what is it that you're actually proposing? What is it that you would like me to do? And I don't know what the answer is.
Of course not. What kind of asinine question is that?
You don't, because that's pretty interesting. Because here's a video of you, Dank, talking when Charlie was at a breakfast.
For these guys, and they don't deserve it. But I do also want to point out, as they're in the middle of crying now, although Charlie was smiling ear to ear throughout the entire video, thinking, yes, I'm now the victim, and I'll get to claim that my rights have been abridged.
Did you catch the beginning of that, Jank? Listen, we'll do it again.
No, I didn't, and that's totally out of. No, we're not going to do it again. Totally out of context. I don't even know what the hell.
Yeah, I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing?
No. Listen, brother.
Are you trying to get harm on me?
Second.
Is that what you're trying to do, you loser?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
No. I'm trying to
do conciliation.
Exactly what
this
people
guy,
like you
look at the last
done.
two things of your last two guests.
Piers.
Jesus,
no,
man.
what they said was, yes, we should have reconciliation, but it is not without any contrition, right? It's not without a mea culpa. Charlie was accosted by Antifa at a breakfast in Philadelphia, and the video that I just played is you with a cartoon of him as Charlie Brown saying that he would love to be martyred so he could be the victim. Well, I guarantee you, his wife, who now doesn't have a husband, and his kids who don't have fathers, did not want him to be martyred.
What you just played isn't what I...
It's exactly what you said, brother. It's exactly
what... What should I search for that, Black Betty? What's the search term?
What?
Let's do it again.
No, it isn't. We just heard it. We just heard it.
It's not.
All right. So
it's not.
No.
Welcome to Piers Morgan Uncensored.
Again, cut this crap out.
No, we'll do it again.
Piers, can we talk about reality? This is something he's going back to like 10 years.
Well, I think Cheng should be allowed to respond.
What I said there.
And they don't deserve
it. It allows for easy martyrdom for these guys, and they don't deserve it. That was when Antifa was going after him at a breakfast in Philadelphia.
So let's let Cheng respond to that.
No, that was about words, you moron. Okay, Jesus Christ, man. All right, so
what's the name of the video? Just give me the name of the video, and I'll search it. Or you can join the free Discord at the top of the chat.
Reality, okay? Shut up. Let's get to reality, okay? So your last two guests, while pretending to be conciliatory, one of them started talking about me and started talking about blood on the hands. And then this idiot brings out a clip from 10 years ago that's about words and is pretending it has to do with violence. No show in America has called for nonviolence more than the Young Turks has. Oh, hey, can I talk? After being accused of terrible things that I didn't come within a million miles of doing. Who did Charlie invite to have these conversations? Me. Why did he invite me if I'm so bad when it comes to these issues? No, it's because Charlie and I understood that we could vehemently disagree.
Hey, shout out to Real Black Betty. We will check this out. Charlie Kirk's beloved wife, Mrs. Erica Kirk, addresses the nation, and of course, a treat for Morty with every donation. Thank you so very, very much. So let's do that and that and that and that. This one 13. What'd you say? 1341.
Good evening. My name is Erica Kirk. Good evening. My name is Erica Kirk. Charlie Kirk is my husband. I first want to thank the local, state, and federal law enforcement who worked tirelessly to capture my husband's assassin so that he can be brought to justice. I want to thank the first responders who struggled heroically to save Charles's life. and the police who acted bravely to make sure that there were no other victims on that terrible afternoon. I want to thank the officers who have protected our Turning Point USA family these past 2 days. And I want to thank the Turning Point USA board, the COO, Justin Strife, and my husband's chief of staff, the amazing Mikey McCoy, for all their work in these terrible days to be the stability for our family and for the wider Turning Point USA family as well.
That's the one, the actual thought that kept me up at night was, what is she dealing with? Like, she woke up. It's insane. She woke up and she's ready to get the kids ready for this big event. So that's already a not just a chill Sunday morning. Doing all this stuff. That happens. And of course, the news is going crazy. People are attacking her and her family. And then at some point, she's in a room by herself, trying to sleep. We definitely know she didn't sleep that night. Trying to sleep. Maybe, has the kids with her, but the kids are just alone with the thought of he's gone. It is. That kept me up. It kept me up. Can't imagine what she was going through. Shout out to M169. Welcome. Said, how shocking. After a decade of using the worst rhetoric to conservatives and centrists, they have the nerve to have the shocked Pikachu faces when a young person finally acted. What did they expect? They expected that this would all be a game and that none of this actually matters. I would say, including the fucking shooter. We also got Dylan Soup. Welcome to the party. Fair enough. Talking about our running poll, we should be getting more angry and violent, or two, trying to de-escalate. And don't think I'm not sure yet. And so a lot of you guys are either on the other side or saying no, we should get more violent. They're trying to hurt you and burn down your stuff. No, they're not. They're a bunch of pussies who are on TikTok. That guy was that guy. But this rhetoric has been there for damn near a decade. And they are not doing shit because they're fucking pussies. Libby says, it's not a debate. It's a chance for people to shout. But yeah, exactly. And I love it. There you go. And Jay is saying Jake's point is flawed. Just because you made content together doesn't mean you like each other. Those videos did well. Fine. But the point that he's making is that Charlie Kirk invited Jank to speak on these issues. He didn't invite Dave to speak on these issues. And so that's why I don't think it is useful to be like, well, see, you said this thing. Yeah. I think the point here is that we all have been using extreme rhetoric. We have all been getting very emotional about this stuff, justifiably or unjustifiably. And we are all using words that don't match what we want in society or what we're willing to do. Charles said, sometimes good men must do bad things for the sake of good. I don't disagree. I just don't know if that is the situation we're in. Real Black Betty said, Jank is talking like changing your mind is a bad thing. I've been changing my mind anytime and correct it with facts. Good point. All right, let's finish Mrs. Kirk. Yep, I hear you.
Stability for our family and for the wider Turning Point USA family as well. My heart is with every one of my husband's employees who lost a friend and a mentor. I want to thank the staffers of his amazing Charlie Kirk show, who helped him broadcast from the studio.
I was just thinking that, like, that he was in that chair.
Every day he loved it. He loved what he did. I want to thank the millions of people who have shown their love for Charlie here in Phoenix, across America, and worldwide. I want to thank my husband's dear friend, Vice President Vance, and his phenomenal wife, Usha, for their love and support. You guys honored my husband so well bringing him home. You both are tremendous. I want to thank President Trump and his incredible family for the same. Mr. President, my husband loved you. And he knew that you loved him too. He did. Your friendship was amazing. You supported him so well, as did he for you. 2 days ago, my husband, Charlie, went to see the face of his Savior and his God. Charlie always said that when he was gone, he wanted to be remembered for his courage and for his faith.
It's so weird that that was the iced coffee hour or the I forget exactly what it was, but the Graham the money guys, they were talking about that and like, how do you want to be remembered? He's like, if I die, well, yeah, prophetic.
And one of the final conversations that he had on this earth, my husband witnessed for his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Now and for all eternity, he will stand at his Savior's side, wearing the glorious crown of a martyr. Charlie loved life. He loved his life. He loved America. He loved nature, which helped him always bring him closer to God. He loved the Chicago Cubs. And my goodness, did he love the Oregon Ducks. Want me to say go Ducks, so I have to since they play on Saturday. So go Ducks. But most of all, Charlie loved his children. And he loved me with all of his heart. And I knew that. Every day I knew that. He made sure I knew that every day. Every day he would ask me, how can I serve you better? How can I be a better husband? How can I be a better father? Every day. Every day. Such a good man. He still is a good man. He was the perfect father. He was the perfect husband. Charlie always believed that God's design for marriage and the family was absolutely amazing, and it is. It is, and it was the greatest joy of his life. And over, he would tell all these young people to come and find their future spouse, become wives and husbands and parents. And the reason why is because he wanted you all to experience what he had and still has. He wanted everyone to bring heaven into this earth through love and joy that comes from raising a family. It's beautiful. Charlie always said that if he ever ran for office, I know a lot of you asked if he ever was going to, but privately he told me if he ever did run for office, that his top priority would be to revive the American family. That was his
yeah. Dilly dilly to that.
One of Charlie's favorite Bible verses was Ephesians 5, verse 25. Husbands, love your wives.
I've been looking for a wife. Okay, guys? Only because Real Black Betty brought it up. I did for a second think hey, she's single now. I'm sorry.
As Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, my husband laid down his life for me, for our nation, for our children. He showed the ultimate and true covenantal love. I will never, ever have the words to describe the loss that I feel in my heart. I honestly have no idea what any of this means. I know that God does, but I don't. But Charlie, baby, I know you do too. I know you do. So does our Lord. And our world is filled with evil. But our God, you guys, our God is so good. So incredibly good. And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose. Already I have seen the worldwide outpouring of love for my husband. I've heard the testimonies from people my husband inspired to get married, to start families, to seek out a relationship with God. It's the most important one of all. The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done.
Did you see the change in her tone? God damn.
They killed Charlie because he preached a message of patriotism, faith, and of God's merciful love.
So do I, Mighty Starlock. Welcome to the party, but not the time. We can have that argument. I mean, she's talking about her husband that was shot right in front of her 2 days ago. So I'll give her that. But welcome. Listen, United leftists always ignore that verse. They love quoting the one before it, which is wives submitting to their husbands but they ignore that one. Yeah, I mean, it's no principles, just positions.
Faith and of God's merciful love. They should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country and this world. You have no idea.
Goddamn right.
You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry.
Mm-hmm.
To everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. It won't.
Nope.
I refuse to let that happen. It will not die.
Me too. Me
All of
too.
us will refuse to let that happen. No one will ever forget my husband's name, and I will make sure of it. It will become stronger, bolder, louder, and greater than ever. My husband's mission will not end, not even for a moment. And one of Charlie's greatest talents was his ability, this phenomenal ability to choose great people to follow him.
She's going for a little more. We'll finish it out of respect. But I just want to remind you that the difference between, hold on.
Fired from my fucking job. I was just fired from my job. I was just fired from my job. I was just fired from my fucking job.
She lost her husband. He lost his job, or she, whatever the fuck it is, lost a job because they were making fun of her losing her husband.
I was just fired from my fucking job. Now I have nothing but this. I have nothing but this website. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing anymore. Ah! 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 Ah!
I don't know. It's scary is what it is.
No!
Still, we're still going. We're still going. What do you think the job was? What do you think the job was that was worth this level?
Oh my God.
And then we see the actual woman who saw her husband obliterated right in front of her.
This phenomenal ability to choose great people to follow him. He could always find the ones who could handle any setback. And it's almost like he knew. He could see it in you. Even when you couldn't see it in yourself, he just knew. He knew you could handle it. You thought you only had 5% left, and he knew you had 15. He knew you were ready to go that extra mile even when you didn't. He always challenged people around him to work harder and to be better. He never gave up.
A shout out to Ayush. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you, sir. Montek said, if they act this way over a job, imagine how they'll be when we finally crack down. And that's kind of what I mean. Like, I know United was saying, like they burned cities, they rioted, all that stuff. I don't disagree. I'm not saying that that's not an issue. I'm saying that it's not a matter of this is put it this way. What percentage of people on the left were actually out in the streets? Once we show that as you're saying, the press is not going to be on top of that or be behind that, rather, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. And when they do, then we'll be there. But I don't think that proactively removing progressives is a good way to go. Behave said, liberal guys can't control themselves. They are practically violent lesbians. Facts. Make my damn latte and shut the fuck up. Oh, we got my thing there. So wait, do you guys hear this with an echo?
Shut up!
Or does that not have an echo?
Shut up!
I don't know why it does that. My video, the intro video does it too. But anyway, yeah, shut the fuck up. MX9 said, aren't these the same people who love to say, you're free to say what you want, but you're not free from the consequence?
Bingo.
Yep. Oh, no, okay. Echo. Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna try. I want to try one more because
Emotional damage.
no echo on that. Okay, maybe it was something wrong with it before. Word up, word up. Nick said he must have been getting laid for learning to get bent out of shape over losing that job. Yeah, damn. All right, let's allow Mrs. Kirk to finish.
And I love knowing that one of his mottos was never surrender. So I want to tell you that we'll never surrender. We never will. Ever. Ever. Our campus tour this fall will continue.
Let's go.
There will be even more tours in the years to come. America Fest here in Phoenix this December will go on. It will be greater than ever. The radio and podcast show that he was so proud of will go on. And in a world filled with chaos, doubt, and uncertainty, my husband's voice will remain. And it will ring out louder and more clearly than ever. And his wisdom will endure. My favorite.
And Quality said, well, I think I speak for all kind-hearted people when I say, fuck that fucking cunt, you deserve this. Not her, to the screaming liberal. Yep. Great. Mighty Starlock said, why don't people see the opposition as a formidable opponent and debate the ideas? To go to violence is a loser position. It's terrible and sad. R.I.P. Charlie. Yeah, and sadly, there are too many people who are willing to do stuff like that. But if we act like it's all of them, then we are just as bad as them, and it will get worse than it needs to be. That is just the state. That's just the state of it. Oh, I haven't updated the banner. My apologies, guys.
And his wisdom will endure. My favorite too, but my husband's favorite word in the English language was earn. He would call all of you to be people of action who earn the future America deserves. So to all of the young people who felt inspired by my husband's faith and hard work, all of you already know what Charlie would want you to do. You know.
And it's not take up
If you're in
arms.
high school or if you're in college, go find your local Turning Point USA chapter. Join it. Stay involved. He wants you to make a difference. And you can. You can. The movement's not going anywhere, and it will only grow stronger when you join it. If there isn't a chapter, you can't find one, then start one. There is no excuse.
Hell
You can
yeah.
start one.
Join the fucking Discord, guys. What do you think Turning Point started out as? Maybe not a Discord server, but just a group of people coming together. You saw the video. It is free to join. I'm not asking for your money. I'm asking for your passion. I'm asking for your conversation. I'm asking for your ideas. I'm asking for you to be part of something that actually fucking matters.
Can't find one, then start one. There is no excuse. You can start one. And as my husband used to say in this room every single day, if you want to get involved, the best way you can do that is going to tpusa.com. That's what he would say every day from this chair. Every single day. I watched his show every day, and he would always say, if you want to get involved.
I do. I would much rather get shot in the face in front of 1 million people and actually have the change that Charlie Kirk did than be some fucking loser in his basement yelling into the ether about stuff and not doing anything. I do. And guess what? I'm not asking you to. I'm asking you to help me be that guy. I'm not asking you to do anything except support what actually fucking matters. Not you specifically, all of you guys. And shout out to a lot of you that do. Big shout out to all the disciples who keep this shit afloat when it gets a little slow. But I'd be lying if I said this is, where we want to be. I'm too fucking nice to you guys. I see every other YouTuber fucking yell at you when you don't hit the goal. I'm like, please, can I have 99 cents? And everybody's like, nah. So you get what you put out into this world.
Go to tpusa.com. If you're a pastor, join our movement at TPUSA Faith. And if you're a parent, I highly recommend that you come to America Fest in December. Sign up right now for that because we would love to see you. I would love to see you. Charlie would. He'll be there. He'll be there in spirit.
All right, and I think she's just going to do that. So I'm going to drop the link in the chat here if you'd like to see that on your own. But you know, shout out to her. Dilly to that. I mean, one more dilly for Charlie Kirk. There you go, man. Thank you so very, very much. Shout out to Kelly Green. $1, guys. $1. Thank you so much. And what? Oh, where's my applause? There we go. And then, of course, Morty gets his treat. Oh, this lazy motherfucker. Thank you so very, very much. That brings us to 1/3 of the goal. 1/3 of the goal, guys. I'm not asking for much. I very, very much appreciate it. Thank you so very, very much. Let's dive back into the shit show.
No, it's because Charlie and I understood that we could vehemently disagree. We could, David, let me speak. So we understood that we could have vehement disagreement, and we often did. And look, guys, but without it
Jake,
getting
are you going to delete any of those videos? Are you going to delete any of those videos
to one another?
Being a white supremacist?
No,
I'm with Jank on this. I'm with Jank on this. This is, we are supposed to be able to speak like that, and because we've all been doing it, you can't single out one person. And just because he didn't like Charlie, are you gonna tell me that you don't have anything about Destiny or Vosh or Hassan or anything like that on your pages? Come on, you know we all do this. Again. Oh my goodness, there we go. One more, and we are past the halfway mark. Thank you so very, very much, sir. And I believe that is 16 out of 50. Thank you so very, very much. 6 out of 15 total donations and 16 out of 50. We are getting there. Thank you so very, very much.
Any of those videos? Are you going to delete any of those videos to one another? Being a white supremacist?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Because Dave, what you're doing is, Dave, will you let me talk?
Do you think he was a white supremacist? Was Charlie a white supremacist?
No, listen to me. Listen to me. Well, if you're not going to let me answer, what the hell's
If he meant it when he said it, then he shouldn't delete it. If he meant it when he said it, then he shouldn't delete it.
Point of this? Okay, listen.
Well, you want
so do I still disagree with the things that Charlie said? Of course I do. I'm not changing my opinion on that. And all the titles that you just read were very normal political disagreements. In none of the titles were there call for violence, because there never is on the Young Turks.
And that's the fact of it. It is extreme language, but it is not calling for violence. And that's what the British guy on the bottom was talking about. And I don't think that we need to excuse the left to acknowledge that, okay, maybe we've all been a little bit too feisty. That doesn't mean that the left hasn't been worse. That doesn't mean that the left hasn't been more violent. That doesn't mean anything except maybe we've just been a little too feisty. That is it. That is the point. Liberty Plus said, just stop people who are literally hurting people. I don't care how, but Charlie was not hurting anybody. Indeed. Kelly said, fuck Hassan Piker, long live Nux. Is that the VTuber guy? Yeah, Hassan. The left can't meme or win a debate. Yeah, because they're stupid. They are stupid. He's getting attacked here. Either way, I think it's I think it's fair. Looks actually great. You guys are savages.
In none of the titles were there call for violence, because there never is on the Young Turks. And
here we go. This is all we want. This is all we want. Is this the best way to get my message across? And is this the best thing for the political landscape? Good job, sir. Good job, sir.
In none of the titles were there call for violence, because there never is on the Young Turks. And I abhor what happened to Charlie. I met his wife. This is a human being. Look, guys. There's two things that I propose. You guys can go back.
Do those headlines imply that Charlie's a racist or a misogynist? Yes or
no? Now I talk. Oh,
they don't.
Enough with the accusing and then not letting me talk. Okay.
I agree. What is the point here? What is the point here, Dave? Yeah, you're right. Jank, just like the rest of us, have engaged in extreme rhetoric. So let's all stop.
Both sides are blind. And Piers, you know this better than anyone. I call out Biden and I say, Democrats, are you crazy? He's obviously old. He's obviously lost his faculties, right?
That's fair. M169 said, I have more respect for Jank if he'd at least admit that he got the facts wrong. Dave is in the middle of his grief. He maybe should have sat this one out. I agree on both parts. Again, I think when it's thrown at you like that, it's natural to get defensive. But you're right. If he would have been like, look, I was wrong, but I'm not the only one who does it. And the point that the British guy was making is exactly, yes, I'm guilty of it. I was wrong about that. But we're all doing that, and we all need to take the temperature down. That's my point. Liberty Plus said TYT has published lies about people to create and create an image of them that is not accurate. That's the issue. It's slander and lies. Jenk saying there's no violence after literally threatening people is fucked up. Behave said Jenk talks like dumb Hulk. Jenk smash. Kelly said just because Jenk wants to make love to animals doesn't mean we should be violent. I mean, okay, roundabout way to make the same point, but I agree. Adam said, Ruben's point is there's no reconciliation without repentance for making false claims. Fair. But this is not the way to do it. If you, and again, I will absolutely give credit to what M169 is saying about the fact that he's in the middle of grief. Totally fair. But if you want to make the point, that there's no reconciliation without repentance, then you have to be like, look, Jenk, I know I've said things about you or this person, that person, that person, that person, but it's Charlie Kirk who died. And these are words that you said about Charlie Kirk. Can we at least acknowledge that this is not true? That would be fair. That's not what Ruben did.
And now crazy, he's obviously old. He's obviously lost his faculties, right? And now this absurdity about how the right are all angels. Are we kidding? You guys didn't see January 6th? You didn't see them attacking cops, raiding the Capitol?
January 6th. Exactly. The point of Piers is spicy clips, and he is killing it. And to the larger point, I was planning. This came out later in the day today. I was planning on doing the culture war thing, where they have a bunch of people there, but they were just kind of going over all the bullshit and just stewing in it. And I don't think that that is helpful. They're doing exactly what Dave Rubin is doing, and fair that you're grieving and mourning, but I don't think that's helpful. Take the day off.
Kidding? You guys didn't see January 6th. You didn't see them attacking cops, raiding the Capitol, chanting, hang Mike Pence, hang Mike Pence. But that leads to my point, not that the right is more guilty. And I'm sickened by the trend that has now appeared on the left of violence. I'm sickened by it. So I'm proposing two things, guys. Well, no way should we ever shut down speech. No way. Not right-wing speech, not left-wing speech. You don't shut it down with the government, and you don't shut it down with violence. So first thing is easy. The second one is hard. The first one is on all of our shows, as we do every day, call for nonviolence. The minute you see someone saying something violent, say, don't do that. That is unacceptable. That is not who we are on the left. That is not who we are on the right. That is not who we are as Americans. You can say anything you want. For example, did Charlie say things that were anti-Muslim? He did. Did I still talk to him? Yes. And I got heat for that. But guys, we're never going to convince each other if we never talk to one another. And now if we start killing each other, it's madness. There's nothing wrong with disagreement, but there's something terribly wrong with violence and shutting down conversations. And then the hard one.
I just think
the left and the right. There is no such thing. Hold on, last thing. We're not ready. There's no such thing as the left or the right. There are people that are a giant range, and we explain this on the Young Turks all the time about the right wing, which is, guys, are they radical right? There are, right? But are they the entirety of all of the Trump voters? Of course not. There's so many good Americans who voted for Trump, who, by the way, some of them voted for Obama before, some of them voted for Bernie before. Same thing on the left. This guy's a lunatic. Are there extreme left-wingers? By the way, the clip that you showed, Piers, no prominent Democrat or left-wingers on there. But that clip sickened me. It sickened me. So
okay, but Cenk.
Elements in the left.
Hang on.
Of course.
And to the credit of people on the left, I have seen a lot of people. Again, this is why I like TikTok so much, because it's not so much about the larger creators. You get a lot of just random people who have no following and are just thinking nobody's going to see something, and maybe it goes randomly goes viral, or maybe it doesn't go viral and it just shows up. But random people are saying, like, I'm on the left, but like, what's going on here? I've seen so much more of that than I have seen people celebrating. And the algorithm should prefer to show me the people that are celebrating. Anecdotal, I know. Yeah, maybe a tiki torch. Fair enough. Liberty said they think J6 was bad, as if people didn't live through way worse from the left isn't a joke. I don't know why they are still on shows allowed to talk. They should be homeless eating from trash cans. Disagree. Jay said, I don't like Cenk. Him throwing insults is disgusting, and now trying to play coy is making me annoyed.
Hang on. Hang on. You mentioned that. And in fact, there are clips, though, of high-profile people saying that stuff. Matthew Dowd got fired by MSNBC within minutes, literally, of saying this on the night that Charlie got killed.
Talk to me about the environment in which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about this. But following up on what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this. Who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in, that people just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then say.
You can't just stop with these awful thoughts you have. You must, says MSNBC, take out these awful thoughts onto the real world. Got that right.
That people just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Matt.
And that's the unfortunate environment we're in.
In other words, Cenk, he had it coming. And I found that despicable. I said it in the moment. He then got fired, and quite rightly. But there were lots of other high-profile people, actually, who weren't just TikTokers saying bad stuff. Just hold fire panel for a moment. I'm being joined now by Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. Lauren, thank you very much indeed for rejoining me on Uncensored. What impact has Charlie Kirk?
Yeah. Oh, let's get a better scope. Oh my God. Goddamn.
Going to have on the ability of political figures, either politicians or political commentators, to go about their business, talking to members of the public without massively increasing.
That freaks me out. When people, you see it frequently, but it's not everybody. Why do people like that? Why do people blink like that? Like, I've got a bunch of lights in my face. I'm not like blinking every 5 seconds.
To go about their business, talking to members of the public without massively increasing their security. I mean, have you, for example, had to up your security since his murder?
Well, first, thanks for having me on, Pierce, to talk about my friend Charlie and the ramifications of this. I feel like our First Amendment rights were assassinated, or at least attempted to, just a couple of days ago, and it's certainly been difficult. And conversations of security for those of us who are in the public eye have definitely increased. They've been increasing all year. I even talked to my Democrat colleagues. Jared Moskowitz is someone who has also received death threats, and even a man parked outside his home where his wife and children are. And so we have increased some security. I don't believe it's enough. I think that we need more. And the ability that we have right now, the resources that we have right now, won't cover what we need. But it's not going to slow us down. I'm not canceling events. I'm continuing to go exactly where I was scheduled to be and talk to folks. It would be a dishonor to Charlie if I were to close my mouth and sit back and quit now. We have got to continue forward in this movement that he really pioneered the way for, and continue to speak truth. Charlie would bring on his adversaries, folks who disagreed with him, and have that dialogue, have that debate and that discussion, and give them a platform. Even certainly, Charlie has given me a platform over the years, but he gave folks who completely opposed his point of view.
Let's just look at this right here. I mean, goddamn, that is awesome. That is awesome. And I mean, the silver lining of such a horrible tragedy is that Charlie Kirk is now in the conversation. It's MLK, Malcolm X, and Charlie Kirk. That's pretty cool. Glumnick said the left have only chosen 3 responses to Charlie Kirk. Either blatant lies about the shooter, saying he supported his own death, or bitching that people care more about Charlie than Gaza. It's honestly just sad. It's pathetic, too. It's sad and pathetic. But that is a good thing, because they have bad ideas. So they're not good at getting those ideas to happen in real life. So, of course, that guy did. But again, most of them are fucking pussies and retards.
a platform as well to express that. And I believe that through his vision and his faith, we will continue to see that with the millions of young people that he has touched. I hope that there are 10 million Charlie Kirks who are born from this moment. But certainly the political violence, it has to stop. And we've been saying this for years now. You could have compilation after compilation of Democrat politicians saying to get in their faces, to take them behind the barn and punch them in the face, and all of these things by elected leaders. You are called to lead, and you're telling your constituents, your voters, and your followers to actually be aggressive physically. And this is just unacceptable. This is not something that you hear from my conservative colleagues. And, if they do say it, I absolutely condemn that. But this is a time for truth and for standing up. And of course, there are concerns. Listen, Pierce, we had
And yeah, M169 is talking about this right here. I just pulled it up. I mean, he worked so hard. He worked so hard to help all of us. And we can have conversations about what Trump has done since all that stuff. But he earned this moment so clearly.
Fox News decides Donald Trump is president of the United States. We've got our republic back, folks.
Let's go.
There it is. Sorry, not sorry. She's fucking hot.
Everybody should remember this moment. Look, I'm gonna echo Charlie from earlier. Remember where you were when this happened. Remember where you were when you realized that the Uniparty and all of these, just the establishment, you said it's time to actually participate. And look what you guys have done.
And if anyone deserves to get tears in his eyes, it's Charlie. I think we all agree.
I think Erica was chopping some onions or something in the break room.
No one has worked harder than Charlie for this.
And that's the look that you see here.
We gotta hear some onions.
God, I want
tears in his eyes. It's Charlie. I think we all.
That look, this look right here. This is the look you get when you make shit happen. This is the look on your face when you're like, fuck yes. I set out to do something and now it's done. I did it. That is the face you earn.
All agree.
I think Erica was chopping some onions or something in the break room.
No one has worked harder than Charlie for this.
We gotta hear some words here from you, Charlie. You put all this together, my man. Let's hear it.
I am just humbled by God. It's all God. It's all God. God alone. God alone. Decision desk has it. Pennsylvania.
We voted too, but fair enough. And yeah, I mean, he earned that moment fully. Worked his ass off.
Truth and for standing up. And of course, there are concerns. Listen, Pierce, we had a mandatory in-staff meeting that was called by the Sergeant at Arms at the House of Representatives. They flew to Colorado to meet with all of my district staff. And it was announced in that meeting that I am number 3 on their list for targeted members of Congress. What? And, we certainly have increased security since then, but it hasn't stopped. And even to add to that, this week, I would have never expected any kind of calls coming into my office or emails of a threatening nature. And we have sent in more threats to Capitol Police and FBI this week than in the past couple of months, and maybe even longer than that. And so, when we're hearing things like Charlie Kirk rightfully was murdered and you should be too. This is what has to stop. And I would have never expected Americans to continue down that path, be joyful that such an amazing Christian, faith-filled father, friend, man, leader was assassinated, executed in front of our faces. And they would continue with that rhetoric and rejoice in it. This is
and the reason that, even though a significant portion of my platform is speaking against the dichotomy of Christianity being the only way to morality or spirituality and all that stuff. The reason that I'm not, digging into that with this stuff is because Charlie Kirk was an individual Christian. And we know that Charlie Kirk did follow the values of Christianity. He was not a somebody who would, misrepresent things to, whatever you want to say. He was a good man. He was a family man. He didn't want to hurt anybody. He wanted to help. He worked hard, all of that stuff. And that does come from being a Christian. Again, it's not the only way. But when you say he's a good Christian man, I have no issues with that. And you shouldn't either if you're an atheist.
Our faces, and they would continue with that rhetoric and rejoice in it. This is a disgusting, dark time, and I hope that we could bring light and joy and true unity. We don't need an enemy to unite around. We live in America, which is the greatest country. Sorry, but this is the great. I'm not sorry. This is the greatest country, and we have so much to be grateful for and honor and respect one another. That alone should be what unites us.
Lauren Boebert, thank you for
Should
that.
be.
Very fascinating. I mean, disturbing actually that you've had more threats since Charlie Kirk was murdered than you have done for many months. I found that a particularly disturbing thing that you revealed there. But I appreciate you coming on a Censor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pierce.
Well, to go back to the panel, I mean, Batia, the thing we haven't discussed in all this, I guess,
We lost Vinny.
is the guns. Obviously, every time there's a gun, a big action of gun violence, there's a big debate about it. It's well known that when I was at CNN, got into many debates about this. I got into debates with Charlie about guns. In fact, he tweeted something which, now you look at it and you sort of wince when you read that. Hey, Piers Morgan, I thought guns don't save lives. And actually, he was talking about an Uber driver.
I'm sure you guys know. I'm sure you guys knew before I ever even thought of this. But the level of defensive uses of firearms, that when I learned that as a default retard lib, it just blew my mind. The way that I started to think about just firearms in general differently was because of people like Cam Haines and Steve Ranella. They're regular guests on Joe Rogan, and they're professional hunters. And Cam Haines is a bow hunter, and this was, like before episode 1000, it was still live on YouTube, and I was catching every episode, and it just showed me a side of that I just didn't know. The propaganda is so strong that they really made me think that anybody who has a gun just wants to use it against anybody that they don't like, which is of course silly. Tonight said he was a good man who acknowledged his faults and stated frankly he isn't perfect. Yep, can't ask for much more. Real Black Betty said, when I was in college, I was apolitical. This guy invited me to the campus Democrat clubs. All they did was tell me how I'm so oppressed as a minority, how bad America was to me and people of color. And all they did was talk shit about America and whites. I was like, these people are crazy. Glad you saw the light. Glad you saw the light. Took me a little while. I wasn't going to any Democrat clubs or anything, but yeah, I mean, I've told the story before, but it was a nice fall night, and I had been smoking weed in one of my friend's dorm rooms, and at the end of the night, I head back to my own dorm room, and I'm walking through the courtyard of Rider University, and if you know anything about Rider University, we did not have a football team because of some bullshit, so even though we were a D1 school, basketball was the only thing. And so because it was a smaller school, it was a private school, and there was no football, then it was most people went either for basketball or for business. So you could pretty easily tell, are you in the business school or are you here for basketball? And so I'm walking back to my dorm, and I see a bunch of the basketball players celebrating out on the lawn. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It's like a random Tuesday in November. That was the night that Obama was elected. So that's how little I was paying attention in 2008. So I feel ya. A shout out to Glom Tech with another $2. Thank you. Said stay the path and try not to act in anger. This lazy motherfucker. There you go. I agree with that. Stay the path and try not to act in anger. That is what the person did to Charlie. Acted in anger. Do you want to be one of them, or do you want to be better? The choice is yours.
Who'd had a concealed carry weapon, which saved his life. So Charlie and I debated guns. We came at it from different perspectives, and I respected that, and he didn't. He then came on my show to talk about other things. So we didn't let that mean we couldn't debate things. Where are we with guns in America? I sort of felt I learned the lesson when I was debating with the NRA and so on. This is an American problem that can only be resolved by Americans. It's not a UK problem. And actually, we used to all have guns in Britain, and we gave them all up. So we don't have a gun violence problem here. Certainly nothing that can be compared to the United States. But there's always this is not the right time to discuss it, but people are discussing it. What do you feel about the guns debate in this?
Oh gosh, I feel like it's so irrelevant. I mean, one side of the political aisle in America is heavily armed, and it's the other side that commits the vast majority of political violence. There's a tacit admission from the left that their side is the violent side, because if somebody, God forbid, if a big left-wing influencer, God forbid, was killed.
I think that's what it's going to take, and I'm not calling for it. But as you guys are clearly saying, there's a lot of anger, and I do think somebody is going to try to go after one of these big left-wing creators, and unfortunately, I think it's going to take a death of one of their own to be like, all right, I get it. I'm sorry.
What they would be doing immediately is boarding up every single major city in America, because there would be rioting and looting. People would die. We know that tens, if not hundreds of people died during the BLM riots. And obviously, none of that has happened, and none of that is expected to happen, despite the fact that the right, whose avatar was just murdered in cold blood, is heavily armed, right? So there is this.
And don't forget about July 13th last year, where our fucking president was shot in the fucking face as well. Hey, shout out again, Real Black Betty, taking the sponsor spot. Said, bro, I don't even know when elections were held. That's how outside of politics I was. I'm a huge champion of free speech and free ideas. Of course, another treat for Morty. Thank you so very, very much, guys. That is 8 out of 15. And I'm not good at math, but 18 plus 5 out of 50. We are getting close. And I'm right there with you, Real Black Betty. I've never, like, as I said, when Obama got elected, I had no idea that there was even an election. But I was always interested in the issues. I was never interested in politics, but the ideas of, freedom and liberty and stuff like that, that always did interest me a lot. I just didn't know how closely connected that was to the knowing who the president is and knowing when to vote this and that and that. I just didn't understand. Like, so many default libs, I thought it was just simple. Just be a good person and vote for the right guy that they tell you to vote for. We have people who take care of that. Oh, how I was wrong. Thank you again, Real Black Betty, the new sole sponsor of the stream. Amongst these 9 said, I was so clueless back in 08. My hopeful ass thought America had healed because a black man had been elected. I didn't vote for him, but thought his winning was good for America. I don't even necessarily think the notion of, getting a black person in the White House, I don't think that is, not a good thing for America. I don't think it's the most important thing, but I do think it is a sign of progress. But I hear ya. Hey, we got Adam again with the $6 said for freedom and the co-host. Thank you, guys. So very, very much. What is that? 29 out of 50 and 9 out of 15. Guys, we might just hit that goal. Let's dive back in. Thank you so very, very much.
Right, whose avatar was just murdered in cold blood, is heavily armed, right? So there is this tacit understanding from the left, even as they call the right the source of all the political violence and fascists and Nazis and what have you, that actually the right will not pick up their arms and turn on their leftist neighbors, right? They rely on the forbearance of their conservative neighbors who are much more heavily armed not to actually take revenge. And we all know that this is happening. They just won't admit it. It is so amazing to sit here and have people bring up case after case after case that has been like thoroughly debunked. Just because Josh Shapiro is a Democrat doesn't mean the person who tried to assassinate him was a Republican. That guy did it, he said, because Josh Shapiro is killing his Palestinian friends, okay? And we have cases like that again and again. They have to keep going back to January 6th, which, as Vince pointed out, no one was killed except Ashley Babbitt, who was one of the protesters, to compare a meme posted of a Halloween costume to people actually saying the things that murderers then use to justify their killing. Like the guy who killed that couple outside the Jewish Museum in DC, or like this killer who killed Charlie, saying the exact same things you hear from the most prominent Democrats is facetious. It is facetious to compare an actual justification for murder that turns into murder with a photo that gets posted. And this is why conservatives are so frustrated, because they know that even as the left is demonizing them, the left is tacitly acknowledging that they're not actually in danger from their conservative neighbors.
Lewis, I know you've got to go. Vinny's had to go as well, sadly. Lewis, you've got to go soon.
Sadly.
Final words from you. Have you been influenced at all by anything you've heard tonight?
I sort of feel, and maybe we all are, maybe this is the problem, Piers, as if I'm living in a different world here. A world where the only invective...
There is definitely two different realities. And again, I refuse to live in theirs where people are out in the streets hunting each other down. That is not my reality. And that is not reality. That is my truth.
As if I'm living in a different world here. A world where the only invective that we ever hear, the only hostile language, the only violent language, and indeed call to arms, come from one side of the political debate. I'll just go back to this point. US government figures show that a majority of political violence, politically related violent incidents actually come from the right, not the left. Now, I'm not sat here saying that there isn't a problem on the left.
Again, how are we qualifying that? How are we qualifying that? How are we defining a violence? How are we defining a violent act? What is the bar?
Left. I've been the first one, quite literally, to say that. But by definition, if there are politically inspired violent incidents on the right, then what is causing those? Are they all just nutters? Are they all just mad?
Nutters?
Or how can it be that the left-wing ones are the ones who are inspired by language? Something must be happening and causing the right-wing violence. And so by definition, presumably, that must be something that is happening in terms of the language of the other side. And just let me finish.
Where did it go? Guamtech says it's up to us brownies to stand up and prove we don't need the left's bigotry of low expectations. Absolutely. I think many of us has been doing a very good job of showing that we don't want that bullshit. But unfortunately, it's not so much the brownies, it's black people. We need the community to see that the community is a bad thing. The institution of the black community TM does not help black people. But they think it does. And they tie that to the Democratic Party. And that's how they got votes, even though their party is slavery.
Must be something that is happening in terms of the language of the other side. And just let me finish. And I think we heard from Kristen earlier as well, when he said the left have imbibed this idea that to get what you want, you are able and should be able to use violence. I mean,
yeah, Jay saying, low-key Charlie is an MLK. He got silenced for trying to make change. And that's what I was saying before, that he is now the silver lining. He is now in the conversation. We have MLK, we have Malcolm X, and we have Charlie Kirk. That is, that's the group. Liberty said, if I was still a leftist, I would not want to be associated with the current left. What kind of person puts up with the left? Exactly, brother. Exactly. Most of them feel this way. Too many of them don't. I completely agree. But most of them feel this way. Fuck you, I'm a shit of a Brit. Behave. So liberal women are scary, mean, and ugly. They hate me. I didn't choose to be conservative. I just fit with that side. We are not monsters. We don't kill people for disagreeing with us. And again, that is why we are better. I consider black. I'm almost 5%. Yeah, you got the pass. You got the pass. Shout out again to real Black Betty. Said truth is subjective. My truth is stupid. There we go, boy. Hey, thank you. Guys, that is 2/3 of the way there. That is 10 out of 15 super chats and $31 out of 50. We are getting close. Thank you so very, very much, guys.
That to get what you want, you are able and should be able to use violence. I mean, come on. Yeah, go back to January the 6th. Because MAGA, at that moment, quite literally decided to use violence.
January 6th. These Brits gonna get me drunk.
Let's overturn the election result. And let's just talk about violent language as well for a second here. From the very, very top, Donald Trump, fight like hell. If you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. Rudy Giuliani.
Bruh, do you really want us to bring up the fucking compilation of, we gotta get louder, we gotta get in their faces, we gotta do... Come on, bro. I was trying. Y'all synced it. I was trying to say, hey, he's making a good point. He's not saying the left is worse than or he's not saying the right is worse than the left. He's saying we all need to bring down the level of vitriol in our rhetoric. I can agree, but then what happened? What happened?
And let's just talk about violent language as well for a second here. From the very, very top, Donald Trump, fight like hell. If you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. Rudy Giuliani, let's have trial by combat. Republican Representative Mo Brooks, today is the day American patriots start down taking names and kicking ass. On the Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot, instead of condemning it, didn't condemn it. What did Trump do? He said, maybe it was a problem, maybe it wasn't. She locked down her state. Even on Mitch McConnell, his own Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, on Truth Social, Trump said McConnell had a death wish for supporting bipartisan legislation. If that's not legitimizing violence, then I don't know what it is.
Clearly, you don't know what it is. You don't know shit about jack. I'm just saying the fact that there were more Black and Mexican citizens voting Republican shows that they are starting to get it. The left isn't catering to them so much as to just stupid people at this point. Bingo. Yeah, the left is basically boomers and gay people. Yup. Real Black Betty said, bro's so stupid, he's reaching like a mouthful. That's all they have. That's all they have. Grasping at straws. Grasping at straws. And yep, that's exactly what I was talking about. You guys know it. Jay said, I'm Black, half African, and I'm ashamed seeing people, mainly my complexion, praise and celebrate this shit. Even my sister said he advocated for the Second Amendment, so he had it coming. Jesus. What do they think the Second Amendment is? Clearly, they don't understand. And they really don't. They really don't. Should we... All right, I'm going to bring up some of my TikToks from the past few days when I was talking about this and how stupid these people really are. Just the British guy is just yapping and flapping his gums and saying a whole lot of nothing. Yep. We got the black girl on down with it.
Your response to that?
I have to agree with Lewis. He is living in a different reality, one that has no connection to actual reality.
But what's wrong?
What are you talking
what's
about?
Incorrect about what I've just said?
You're comparing somebody saying fight like hell in the context of a political campaign
in the context of a
with
lie
what
where
I
you try to
explained
overturn a
earlier.
democratic
Lewis, can I
election.
speak
That's the
now?
definition of
Are you
far-right
capable
behavior.
of listening to an alternative point of view?
I'm
Do you have to
incapable
shut
of listening
down?
to
Well,
nonsense.
shut up then. Shut up and listen if you're capable of it. Now, you can't compare somebody saying fight like hell in the context of a political campaign with what I explained earlier, which is when you call people Nazis.
The campaign was over.
Shut up and listen to an alternative opinion. Why is it that you people have a complete inability to listen to opinions that you don't like? Why can't you just sit there and actually hear what I'm saying?
I'm waiting.
You can't oh my God. You can't compare somebody saying fight like hell with somebody explaining that the country is an imminent threat of a fascist takeover, because an imminent threat of a fascist takeover is something that would actually legitimize you picking up a rifle and heading to the front line. So when you and Cenk and people like that call people you don't like far right, hard right, Nazis, and fascists, you are creating an environment in which some crazy people, yes, of course they're crazy, will feel that they're entitled to use violence to prevent the fake fascist takeover you keep banging on about. And there is no equivalence between these things. I disagree, by the way. Cenk is entitled to criticize Charlie Kirk and his positions on the show. That's absolutely fine. But when you label and smear people as fascists and Nazis, that is taking it to an entirely different level. And that is where I hope there would be some self-reflection. But I'm not seeing any on this panel tonight, I'm afraid.
No, and it's interesting. I remember the Madison Square Garden rally just before the election. And I went to that because I'd never been to any political rally for anyone. But Trump said, why don't you come down? I went down. And I was really struck by the fact that it was being branded by the left, from Hillary Clinton to MSNBC and others, as a neo-Nazi rally. They compared it to one in the 30s at the Madison Square Garden, which was indeed a neo-Nazi rally. And I thought then it was incredibly dangerous, but also incredibly stupid. There were many Jewish people in the audience. There was a Holocaust survivor, a prominent one, in the audience. Donald Trump, his son-in-law is Jewish. His daughter converted to Judaism. The idea that he is the new Adolf Hitler has always been utterly preposterous. But to take your point, Konstantin, I completely agree. If you are telling people all the time that Trump is Hitler and his followers are Nazis or fascists, then it makes absolute logical sense to a warped mind that they should be stopped, and that the only way to stop fascists and Nazis is with violence. And actually, in their heads, they are doing society a favor. This is the right thing to do. So the over-demonization constantly, of Trump in particular, and people that support him, I've always felt is extremely dangerous.
Are we saying that Donald Trump has never demonized his opponents?
Not at all. And in fact, I completely agree with you when you say that there are many examples on the right of violence amongst the far right. But I do think that there is just over-demonization from everybody. And it does lead disturbed minds to believe they are doing the right, good thing. I haven't heard what this shooter has to say. Apparently, he's not cooperating with authorities now. He's got lawyered up and is now saying nothing. But if he was to say, I believe that Charlie Kirk is a fascist and that Donald Trump is a fascist, and I was doing this to save America from fascists, then you could understand how his diseased mind is viewing this. And it will be
and that's why the rhetoric needs to be turned down. Public said, Second Amendment argument against CK equals first level of thinking. Yep. It's always going to get worse. Typical limp-wristed white liberal. Momdex said guns were involved and he liked guns equals he advocated for his own death. The average left today. Yep. If only the left did the math on we're anti-fascists and we use fascist tactics equals we should be against ourselves. Too much logic. Too much logic. Nick said the extreme left don't care about history, so they have no concept of that comparing Trump to Hitler is just stupid. And that's kind of a something that I want you guys to keep in mind as we go through some of these TikToks. You may have seen a couple of them, but there are new ones here. And it just really shows how far gone they are. And it's not all of them. But this is why I'm very willing to believe that there's so many stupid people over the angry and violent people. Jay said liberals in Canada are saying some disgusting things. Our prime minister is getting massive heat for not addressing it. Well, yeah, better get with that. All right, let's see what we got. Let's go full screen.
Oh, like because the only thing that stops the bad guy with a pew pew is a good.
Okay, so the comment, obviously we are talking about Charlie Kirk, and I just posted about about him, and this comment says, "Where was the good guy with the gun that was supposed to prevent this?"
Like because the only thing that stops the bad guy with a pew pew is the good guy with a pew pew.
Yes, if there was somebody there that had a pew pew that saw that the guy was doing that, guess what would have happened? It would have prevented it. It's almost like the past 25 years of rhetoric of pew pew's bad, pew pew's bad, pew pew's bad, pew pew's bad, especially on liberal arts colleges, prevents people from carrying. But of course, we know you're not actually asking, you're taking a victory lap at the death of a father. Cool, bro. You're such a good person. I mean, it makes sense that you have a cat as your profile picture because I know for a fact that you would not have the balls to say this to my face. And I'm only 5'4". Sure else would say it to Charlie when he was alive. Because you suck. Okay, so we got that. And then somebody says in Utah, it's illegal to open carry on college campuses. Chances are there was a good guy with a good guy with a gun present, and yet. Wait a minute. Are you guys under the impression that when we say a good guy with a thing is the only thing that stops a bad guy with a thing, that just by the fact that the good guy exists, that the bad guy can't shoot? Is that what you think we mean? It's no wonder you're so confused and angry. I was kind of trolling when I said that one, but then I got this. I mean, they really think that there were 6 guys, 6 security guys with guns. Oh wow, they really think that just because a good guy with a thing exists, that bad people. Obviously, it's TikTok, so I can't speak as openly as I can here, and YouTube is bad. But so that's the only thing that YouTube has better over TikTok is slightly less terrible moderation. Guy with the thing exists that bad people can't use theirs. The left's lack of intelligence never ceases to amaze me.
Mike is on the.
This one here. Yeah, another person who thinks that because you have comment says, also, Kirk has paid security at all times.
Security, you are somehow impervious to bullets. What do you think security is? It's not some magic force field. If somebody is hiding and cannot be seen, what maybe I'm stupid, but I genuinely do not understand why you think that this is relevant to what we're talking about. You think that they were aware of the shooter and just decided not to do anything? Or is it really that you think that their existence magically either prevents bad guys from doing anything or creates some type of force field? Stupid. Yeah, that's not what we mean. Why is it always the dumbest ones that are the most arrogant? This is embarrassing. Got a comment on one of...
Well, the big lighter conspiracy, that is another thing for another day. Let's grab some of what you guys are saying. Liberty said the Canadian Conservative Party leader in Canada is saying he's scared for his family after Charlie's assassination. There are massive protests planned for tomorrow in UK and Canada. While the world has had enough, the whole world is fucking sick of the left. Bingo. Exactly why we don't need to be violent with them. Grundig said, conspiracy time. Is it strange that Charlie was assassinated a week after 7 conservative politicals were assassinated in Germany? I did not know that that was the case. Yikes. Jay said, paid security is pretty fucking tough to protect from a sniper 200 meters away. Yeah. Almost like it's not a magic force field. Almost like it's not a magic force field. I'll get to what you guys are saying. Right before 9/11, the anti-Israel people are having a field day with that. M69 said, I saw a comment that asked, why didn't he have SWAT coverage? Because he's not the president, dumbass. Stupid. He's just a guy. He's just a guy. And Behave is saying, if you have a septum ring, you're a danger to yourself and others. I agree with that. You need a conservative man to give you a great fuck and rules to abide by. Submission really is the best feeling for ladies. I'm single, baby. All right, so this comment is just going off, but says, legit like people acting like he would be happy to hear about people like me getting gunned down happen. The fact that we have Minnesota lawmakers getting attacked is blah, 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 blah. So this comment is saying it's crazy because if that happened to me, then Charlie Kirk would be celebrating. First of all, Charlie Kirk had no idea who the fuck you are. And second of all, he was explicitly against political violence.
Where do you guys get this stuff? Maybe if you actually took the time to watch people that you didn't completely agree with, you would know what they say instead of just listening to other people who tell you random stuff like Charlie would be happy that you would get gunned down over and over and over and over and over. He talks against political violence. He, I don't know if you know what was going on, but he set up a situation to talk to people that he disagrees with. We are not the same. You think you live in some fantasy video game world, and the rest of us are in reality. So I don't know how to help you, sweetie. Sorry.
I've started calling them all sweetie and sweetheart and stuff. It's a lot of fun. They really don't like it. Couple more here. Couple more. So this retard presents the question. Explain exactly why every country with strict gun control has lower rates of gun deaths.
Seriously, you're not seriously asking why the places that don't have pew-pews don't have a lot of pew-pew deaths. How's the murder rate?
I left the man.
Probably children. I don't know, but that is, a good question. That this is these are not serious people. These are not serious people. All right, two more for you. And we can dive back into the panel if you guys would like to keep that party raging.
I will explain it to you. I don't know if you know this, but there's no such thing as just complete and utter safety and invulnerability from anything. That doesn't exist.
So the comment, okay, then a good guy with a gun doesn't work. Like you said, if good guys with guns are there, it helps. They say that someone armed with security on a campus that allows open carry doesn't blah, 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 blah. Again, trying to say that the good guy with a gun versus the bad guy with a gun doesn't, isn't true.
Complete and utter safety and invulnerability from anything. That doesn't exist. When people say the only thing that stops a bad guy with the pew-pew is a good guy with a pew-pew, it doesn't mean that because a good guy with a pew-pew exists, that bad guys can't do anything. It means that the only thing that can stop that is another pew-pew. Yet again, that doesn't mean that it is an automatic thing that because there are good guys there, that bad guys can't do anything. It just means the level of risk that is there when there's no good guys is much higher than the risk of when there are good guys that have them. Does that make sense? There's no foolproof way to stop bullets. I don't know why. This is precisely why we need more of them. Because only the bad people have them. So we need more good people to have them so that if there is a bad person doing that, then maybe, hopefully, somebody who has one that's a good guy will be able to intervene. It's not a magic fix. There is no magic fix. Banning guns is not a magic fix. It doesn't exist.
And shout out again, the real Black Betty here, saying this is exactly where I went in the comments of these videos. Like, people were talking about this stuff. Real Black Betty saying more pools equals more drownings. Should we ban pools? Obviously not. But even specifically with the risk factor thing that I'm talking about, I was like, how is it that you guys can fucking understand this in every context except this one? You wear a seatbelt, don't you? Do you think that by clicking your seatbelt that you can't die in a car accident? No? Okay, well then why are you wearing a seatbelt? Oh, because it lowers the risk. If you're going to get on a motorcycle, you're going to wear a helmet, right? Does that mean you can't die on a motorcycle? Obviously not. You all understand this, but when it comes, it's the same exact principle when it comes to guns, but for some reason, you just logic goes out the window. Make it make sense. Shout out again to Real Black Betty. Where are we with that? That is 11 out of 15, guys. 11 out of 15 and 37 out of 50. And Real Black Betty out sponsoring herself. Guys, we are getting close. I do have the cap here from the peanut butter that Morty didn't get. I will throw that in as an extra reward for the goal. Thank you so very, very much, Real Black Betty. My voice is low, like the volume? Or you mean in the video? In the TikToks or from here? Crime falls when open carry is there. Yep. White areas with open carry are the safest places in the world. Yep. You know it. All right. What do I got? A couple more. And then since Real Black Betty came in clutch, we will head back.
Are they trolling or are they serious? This is like the 7th person now.
Oh, sorry, so you can see it. So this comment says that is why that is what many conservatives believe. Yes, that by virtue of people knowing everyone has a gun, it won't happen. Okay, not completely untrue, but not applicable to this situation.
Are they trolling or are they serious? This is like the 7th person now who has said that when we talk about the good guy with the meh and is the only thing that can stop the bad guy, that they think that we think that means if we have a good guy there, it's a magic force field that nothing bad can ever happen. That's not what we mean. We live in reality, and it's about risk. If you have zero protection,
because stupid people believe stupid things, and it's not just YouTube where I got to come out here and set people straight. It's as much as I love my TikTok algorithm, it can get bad if you're a bad person. It's like super soldier serum. It enhances what already is. If you are a terrible person, then your algorithm is going to be filled with terrible stuff that makes you angry. If you're an intelligent person who understands what the algorithm is, then it will feed you exactly what you want to see, exactly what you don't know that you want to see, and exactly what you didn't even know existed, and now you love it.
And it's about risk. If you have zero protection, the risk is higher. If you have some protection, the risk is lower. It's the same concept of wearing a seatbelt in your car. You're not magically saved from dying in a car accident because you have a seatbelt on, but the risk is lowered, so you wear your seatbelt, hoping that in case something bad happens, you have a little bit more protection.
Hello.
I love these fucking calls. The prank calls. I am obsessed with them. They're hilarious. All right. One more after this. So somebody making a solid point in my comments saying only the government should be allowed to kill people.
Yeah, if you're for 2A control, then this is just your position. End of story. There's no two ways about it. I used to be a default lib. I'm sorry, I did vote for Hillary, and then after that I was so scared I didn't vote again until I voted for Orange Man in 24. Hell yeah, even though it's not great on Epstein and Iran, but still. When I learned this statistic, how many defensive uses of things happen per year, this is the wildly conservative estimate, and I don't mean right wing. I mean the lowest. They say it can be up in the millions of lives saved every year. But you don't want to worry about that. You just want to have your talking points and dance on somebody's grave because they said words that you don't like. Right.
All right. Oh, I forgot I had all that stuff. All right, diving back in. Everybody better have liked that super chat from Real Black Betty, because that is the only reason we rage on. We are past that 2.5 hour mark, and we have not hit the goal. So let's get it in.
Then you could understand how his diseased mind is viewing this. And it will be because, Lewis, he has heard repeatedly on the airways for a decade now that is the case.
Well, sure. But my point is this, Piers. Both sides in America, and we're seeing it in the UK as well, increasingly treat, and I don't welcome this at all, increasingly treat every single election as if it is an existential moment. I.e., if our side loses or the other side wins, then the country as we've known it will be gone. Now, yes.
That is explicitly why I felt like I needed to vote for Hillary. Because like we were talking about in 08, I didn't know jack about shit. And then when I realized maybe I should start paying attention to this stuff, I thought I was going to be a big brain. I'll watch MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News so I can get all the information. That explains it.
The left has, or parts of the left have expressed that in terms of fascism or far right. The right have its own vocabulary and its own way of describing it. And we go back to, again, what Donald Trump said at the time when he said, if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore, which is exactly, I mean, Piers, you're talking about what... depraved minds here or demented minds here, and they go and turn to violence. That is precisely what we saw with January the 6th. That is what we see again and again.
January 6th! January 6th! And here's the thing. I definitely, I agree with what, like I said, I agree with what he was originally saying, that we all need to bring the temperature down. But now, as Adam was saying before, there's no reconciliation. There's no, desire to be like, okay, we definitely, we've both been doing this, but clearly our side is the one who just shot somebody in the fucking neck. That just happened. You got to politicize it and be like, no, we're the good ones. You're not. You were making a good point. And then...
That is precisely what we saw with January the 6th. That is what we see again and again and again. And what I just find not only distasteful, but frankly demented, is the idea that somehow we can say that this is a problem which is unique to one side of politics.
I'm a little drunk already, guys. No, I'm not drunk, but I'm getting drunk.
It's a problem. It's a problem which actually begats each other. It's a problem which each side, it metastasizes this problem of political violence. Each side, each time adds fuel to the fire, and it gets hot. It gets hot inside the building. So the truth.
And again, I agree with that. But you need to acknowledge this is the exact same fucking thing. The exact same fucking thing. Do you guys remember the Atlantic article? Atlantic amnesty. Give me this. Can we get it in a picture? Yes, thank you. Do you remember that? Fuck me. Do you remember this? Do you remember this? Let's declare a pandemic amnesty. We need to forgive one another for what we did and said when we were in the dark about COVID. No apologies. No, like, hey, we got it wrong. All right. No. If we wanted to say, all right, look, you guys fucked with us real hard during COVID, but it was a tough time. We didn't know it was good. So let's just call it even. We can say that. You don't get to fuck around and be like, let's not find out. Same exact shit is happening right here. You are right that it is a feedback loop, but your side started that loop. Your side has been worse with that loop. It doesn't mean that the right hasn't fed into it. But you can't be the one to be like, well, look, we got to do this. Well, then do it. Do it. And then you have the moral high ground to say, look, you shouldn't be doing this. Fucking pathetic.
Each side, each time, adds fuel to the fire, and it gets hot. It gets hot inside the building. So the truth is, we've all got to acknowledge, and you're talking about what happens in the far right and so on in different parts of the world. We're braced in London right now for what might happen tomorrow in terms of violent protests on the streets of London with Tommy Robinson. We saw what happened in terms of violent protests all throughout the course of the last year. This is a problem which happened on the left, and it is a problem on the right. And it must be acknowledged in order to do anything and something about it.
Okay, then acknowledge it. Acknowledge that you are worse with this, that we are reacting to being called racist and Nazis and all that stuff. And yes, people have been calling the left bloodthirsty and groomers and pedophiles and all that shit. But there's reasons for that. There's reasons for that. Your level of rhetoric in terms of hostility is up here when the reality is down here. Our level of rhetoric is up here compared to yours, and our level of reality is here compared to yours down here. So we're stretching the truth a little bit. Maybe reality is here and we're exaggerating a little bit. But on your side, reality is here and you're going this level of violence. So fuck off with this bullshit. Fuck you.
Problem on the right. And it must be acknowledged in order to do anything and something about it.
Okay, Lewis, thank you for joining us today. I know you're going to leave us, but we really appreciate it. I'll come back to the panel for more in a moment. We're going to be joined now by Alex Marlow, a close friend of Charlie Kirk, Breitbart editor and host of the Alex Marlow podcast. Alex, first of all, my deep sympathies to you as a friend of Charlie's. I wasn't a friend of his. I knew him. I'd interviewed him a few times. I had a lot of respect for the extraordinary empire he built for himself. And I had a lot of respect for the fact that he would willingly, regularly go into the heart of the people that vehemently disagree with him and have open debate and do so often very respectfully and politely. But he would allow them to challenge him and he would challenge them. And we saw him do that over here in London a few months ago, and it was extremely interesting to watch.
I left the goddamn barrier, and Morty went upstairs. Hold on. Okay, we're not gonna do a chair react, so we'll just do this. Give me 1 second. Welcome to the party. Said Tom Homan is doing a wonderful job. I'm extremely thankful for him. I said shit. Me too.
Advocate for what he does. It's not making him universally popular. It is with a lot of people, but a lot of people don't like some of the stuff he's been doing. But what did you make of his arguments?
Well, let me get first to the character of the man. I have no problem with Tom Homan's patriotism.
So we're going to disagree.
I believe that.
No, we being Geraldo is going to disagree with Tom Homan. You don't caveat like this if you're just gonna be like, yeah, I agree.
Of the man, I have no problem with Tom Homan's patriotism. I believe that he is sincere in his goals, and he is working, he thinks, in his own mind for his country. The question I have to start, though, Piers, is if what he is doing is so noble, if what he is doing is so necessary,
it is
for the fate of our republic, the United States, then why do his ICE agents wear masks?
I don't know. Maybe because people are fucking attacking them and doxing them?
Stupid. Sheriffs don't wear masks. Troopers don't wear masks.
Are sheriffs and troopers getting doxed and attacked in the streets right now? Then what the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Shut up! FBI don't wear masks. Court officers, no one in law enforcement. Cops certainly do not wear masks. If he is so doing God's work, doing the right thing, the righteous thing, then why do they skunk around anonymous, grabbing people on the street? And I
so much grabbing people on the street, as opposed to how else do you arrest somebody? You ask them nicely to step into the back of the van. What are you? You're not saying anything. You're not saying anything. Just saying things. That video just dropped today, guys. If you would like to see the rest of that, please go check it out. All right. We are with Charlie's friend, Alex. What was his name? I forget his name. Alex something. I asked them nicely to be arrested. They consent to it. Consent is so important. All right, diving back in.
That over here in London a few months ago, and it was extremely interesting to watch. I like that about him. And the fact that he has been singled out for this brutal, senseless murder to silence his views when he never sought to do that to other people with their views is a hideous irony of this. What is your feeling about where this leaves America and political discourse?
That's an incredibly poignant point, Piers. Thank you for having me on and getting to remember my friend Charlie. The fact that he was gunned down on a university campus where there are 99-1 left-wing viewpoints that are shared with young, impressionable minds, and he was sitting down. He wasn't towering over people. He's an extremely tall person. He's a very powerful person, extreme alpha guy. And he sits there and he debates people. And he encourages people who disagree to come to the front to have civilized, vigorous debate with him. And he was shot in the throat while he was doing that by some nothing of a person. A person we'll know is completely insignificant in every other way. To take out Charlie, who had become a giant in both media and activism, and did so with just the power of his words and his...
Yup, absolutely. Really quick, I'm going to ask you guys, if you are new here, please do hit that subscribe. I am live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it, and dropping videos every single day. You're going to get at least 2 posts a day, a video and a stream, or 2 videos, or yesterday, you got a whole bunch of shit. Plus, we do have the Discord and a bunch of stuff going on. Join something that actually matters. And of course, you know, YouTube is terrible with those notifications, so hit that bell.
Willpower. It's deeply profound moment and embarrassment for the entire country that's supposed to value freedom of speech. And the fact that there isn't a universal understanding of that symbolism to me is very dark as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I remember last week we had a comedian called Graham Linehan who was arrested at Heathrow Airport for jokes he'd put on X 3 months before, which I found an outrageous abuse of his free speech rights. And Americans, quite rightly, were very critical of the UK and have been about our general attitude towards free speech over the last couple of years, with people being imprisoned for stuff they've put on Facebook and so on. But we look at, in the UK, we would look at something like this and go, well, you can't.
No, there definitely shouldn't be a problem there. You can definitely keep trying, but also you can hit up Venmo or Cash App at or $ TheIndianJesus. But thank you for trying.
Can't imagine. But we look at, in the UK, we would look at something like this and go, well, you can't imagine a more.
And they also sometimes they like, if you say something that they don't like, then they won't let it super chat. So if you're saying, just like take the vowels out of the naughty words.
Heinous attack on free speech than what has just unfurled with Charlie Kirk. To murder somebody for their opinions, as the police are now suggesting that this was the motivation for the shooter, is genuinely terrifying.
It is genuinely terrifying. It's going to have a chilling effect on speech in the country. Our university system has already become a cesspool of leftism where it's completely one-sided, and decent parents of all different political stripes send their children there just to get one-sided radical ideas. From an extreme secular perspective as well, Charlie was an evangelist for Christianity and Judeo-Christian values, which I think are severely lacking in American dialogue these days. And
again, as the atheist, I agree that those values, even though I don't believe in the truth claims, that those values are sorely missing. Shout out to Guam Tech with the $1 make you holla. Thank you so very, very much, sir. Of course, a treat for Morty. And guys, that is 12 out of 15 super chats, guys. We are so close. Oh, and another one. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, we are getting close. We are getting close. Oh, Morty's loving it. He had to, that's where he went. He had to get some water because you guys were so generous. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very, very much. Oh, I am so grateful for you guys.
In Judeo-Christian values, which I think are severely lacking in American dialogue these days. And I think that he was a voice for that as well. There is something happening in this country where people are normalizing violence at an extreme level. You saw the fantasies of people wanting to kill Donald Trump. I know you've gone through on the show some of the examples of violence against conservatives that have taken place. It was inevitable that this was going to happen. That's the problem here, Piers, among all others, is that this is not a surprise. They've been targeting us. They've been fantasizing about killing us. The dialogue online is completely insane. And it was just a matter of time before they take out one of our field generals.
You know, many felt that Charlie was on a fast track.
Oh my goodness. 24 months, 2 whole years. 2 whole years. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. These don't count towards the goal, but they definitely count towards Morty because I appreciate you guys so very, very much. 2 more, guys. 2 more, and we hit the goal.
It's a matter of time before they take out one of our field generals.
You know, many felt that Charlie was on a fast.
Remember, any donation counts, Rumble rants, Venmo, Cash App, any PayPal, all of that stuff counts.
Just a matter of time before they take out one of our field generals.
You know, many felt that Charlie was on a fast track to potentially becoming president of the United States one day himself. We'll never know now if that would have happened, or even if he particularly wanted it to happen. But on a personal level, you knew him better than probably anyone I've had on the panel today. What was Charlie like?
He was exactly what meets the eye. He was a wonderful, wonderful person who had such a spirit for Western values, for Christianity, for his faith, for family. I met Charlie when he was just a teenager. He approached me and my colleague Joel Pollack at Breitbart with an idea about bias on campuses and bias in textbooks for a story. And I think we surprised him when we suggested he actually write it up himself. And he found himself on TV and on radio, and he got the bug, and he wanted to be out there publicly evangelizing his views. And he used that to build Turning Point USA. I tried to hire him about 10, 11 years ago. Turning Point was just barely big enough where he resisted.
Shout out to the almost 3 years. Very much appreciated. Dilly to Rontek and all of the disciples.
USA. I tried to hire him about 10, 11 years ago. Turning Point was just barely big enough where he resisted coming over to Breitbart, and he kept building Turning Point to the behemoth that it became. And all along the way, a tireless work ethic, someone who was ruthlessly efficient with his time, and an incredible friend, always encouraging. I just put out a book, and he was one of the most supportive people, encouraging people to go buy it and supporting me. He was always offering encouraging texts, and he knew it was going to be dangerous that day. Piers, one of the last communications I had with him was concern about this particular event, about how Antifa could be there specifically. And he still was brave enough to go out there. He didn't need any more power, any more wealth. He just wanted to bring the message that he believed in. He believed he was put on earth to convey to people who needed to hear it. He was a good man. He was a pure man. He was not a drinker or a smoker or a cavorter. All he wanted to do was preach what he knows to people who had never heard those messages before.
Alex Marlowe, thank you very much indeed for joining me. I appreciate it. Let me go back to the panel here. Dave Rubin, I thought he summed it up well there. There's a massive loss here on a human level of a very bright, successful young man.
Oh, we lost the fruit, the beta Brit.
Who, like you said, he didn't smoke, he didn't take drugs, he wasn't a party guy. He was committed to his beliefs, and he was committed to, spreading the word of his beliefs, but also allowing people to debate with him about those beliefs. That's what a democratic society should be about. And yet here he is now, dead at 31, because somebody was incapable of listening to his beliefs without wanting to kill him.
Yeah, Piers, look, this is a guy, I don't talk about it that often. I happen to be gay. It's not a big deal. I've been married for over 10 years, and I've sat with Charlie and my husband and his wife and talked about marriage and talk about the differences there and all of those things. And we talked it out. That's what Charlie was great at. I do have to say, though, on the political side of this, for where this conversation has got heated, it seems to me that everyone agrees that Donald Trump is not Hitler and his supporters are not Nazis. So with that...
Does everybody agree? I don't know that everybody does agree, but what I do know is that the goal has been met and surpassed. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very, very much. That's another 2 treats for Morty. Oh my goodness, you guys are amazing. Everybody put Guam check in the chat for getting us over the mark. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very, very much. Now Morty's got a little bit more to play with. And then of course, I gotta do push-ups. Oh, look how puny I am. Thank you so very much for helping me, guys. It is it's not a good situation. It's not a good situation, but you are helping me fix it up. And don't forget, guys, every $2 is another push-up. So we hit the goal, but you can make me do more push-ups. Thank you, sir.
Donald Trump is not Hitler and his supporters are not Nazis. So with that in mind, I'd like to read some other headlines. These are video titles from Cenk's channel. And if in the spirit of reconciliation, maybe he wants to delete these things. Trump cuts anti-Nazi program. Trump spreading Nazi propaganda. Nazis encouraged by Trump's Charlottesville response. Trump defends Nazis, very fine people. That is the biggest hoax, political hoax ever. Trump retweets a neo-Nazi again. Trump disappoints neo-Nazi supporters. So these things don't come out of nowhere. I only blame one person at the end of the day for these murders, which is the crazy person who does the murders. But pretending that what is wildly asymmetrical, I think I have laid that out with evidence here, pretending that it's symmetrical is deeply, deeply dangerous. Piers, you know this because we've discussed it on my show. Even on your show, you have found it way more difficult to find rational, decent people on the left who will explain themselves thoughtfully and calmly and everything else, while the panoply of people you get on the right who shouldn't even be on the right, I would say certainly someone like me, I don't know exactly where Batya considers herself, but people with a variance of political opinions that now broadly are part of the MAGA thing is because of what I just read you, the endless hysteria of the left that has ginned up people to do crazy things. It's not to say you can't say the worst things. You want to say the worst things, Donald Trump's a Nazi. It's so tough to say. You want to say that, go ahead and say it. It falls on the person who pulls the trigger. But if we're all sitting here saying, yeah, it's not true that Donald Trump's a Nazi and it's not true that his supporters are Nazis and he's not Hitler and all of those things, well, then before you get to reconciliation, a little bit of a mea culpa by some of us might be valuable.
That's exactly what Adam was saying. And you tripped me. We did not see this yet. He's pro Hershey Highway. Oh, yuck.
Thank.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. This is disgusting. So this guy pretending to do conciliation, and I was going to be conciliatory towards Dave if I spoke first. But apparently that's not what he's doing at all. So what he's trying to do is get people angry in a misleading way against me. Are you trying to get people to be violent?
I agree. I agree with Cenk.
Those are titles
this
of your
is disgusting.
Videos? No.
So no. Let me explain. Let me explain.
Those are your titles.
No, let me explain. You're asking me a goddamn question. So let me explain while you're trying to get people to do violence against me. You're disgusting. So those are 80% of those titles. I've never called Trump a Nazi. And those titles were about neo-Nazi reactions. So what do you want us to do? Not tell you what's actually happening? And so look.
Did Donald Trump side with neo-Nazis?
Yes, he did say that.
So in Charlottesville?
So as how about you handle the young Turks? Can I just talk? So this monster is trying to egg on violence.
What did Donald Trump say after very
and he won't even let me
talk?
talk.
Talking about the neo-Nazis or the white supremacists who should be condemned completely. It's the biggest debunked conspiracy theory of all time. You're still pushing that now? You're still pushing the very fine people hoax now? I'm shocked even for you.
Dave, no. Dave, shut up.
I kind of feel like maybe that's not what Cenk meant, but like, is he really trying to push that still? They said, funny how actual gay and other people these libs claimed Kirk hated are saying how good of a person he was when they met him. But somehow I'm supposed to take the opinion of a TikTok video as gospel. Unfortunately, that is how too many people actually think.
People hoax now? I'm shocked even for you.
Dave, no. Dave, shut up and let me answer your stupid question. So on that day, which now we're going back to that for no goddamn reason other than you're trying to get people angry at me for misleading things.
I'm reading your title. You should be angry at your title.
He did. Shut up and let me answer. So did he say there are very fine people on both sides? He did. So that's a fact. Now, who was he referring to? As we've explained on the Young Turks, he might have been referring to the people who
might have. There's no might have. There's no might have. I'm with you, Cenk. I'm trying to be with you. Don't be yourself. Be better than yourself.
Referring to, as we've explained on the Young Turks, he might have been referring to the people who were in favor of the Confederacy and came out there to support Confederate generals. I didn't find that to be any better. Those people were in favor of slavery. Those people lynched black people. So I'm not going to ever cheerlead for them, and I'm not.
It's about American history. It's about American history. There is a reason that those statues went up in the first place. And taking down the statues does not erase what happened. And so if you are so hell-bent on making sure it never happens again, then maybe a stark reminder is a good idea.
not ever going to shut
Jake,
up
in the very
about
next
terrible
sentence, in the
things
very
that
next sentence, did he say, "I'm not
some people on
talking about the
right
white
say."
supremacists
So
or
you're
the
not going to get me
neo-Nazis
to
who should
shut
be
up,
condemned totally"?
and you are against speech, and you're the one trying to smear people. So let me be super clear, and let me outrage
reading your
everyone
titles,
on all
brother.
sides, and then try to bring people together. You've already talked. So now,
Again, I disagree with the way that Ruben is approaching this. I think that he's giving Cenk an out to be like to do exactly what he's doing. You're trying to get people to hurt me by just saying random stuff that I've said. I can see that Dave is trying to tie together that you are being hypocritical because you're saying this now, but you've said this in the past. But I don't think that is the crux of the message. The crux of the message needs to be, okay, if you are saying now that we all, left and right, have been too vitriolic, then will you denounce the things that you have said before? That is how you do it. Why the fuck are they on Piers Morgan and I'm fucking sitting in my living room?
Look, if you're on the left, I'm going to say something that's going to piss you off. So Charlie said things that were against Muslims. I'm from a Muslim background. Laura Loomer has said tons of things against Muslims. Ben Shapiro has, etc. So what? We fight back with words. Now, Dave is trying to say, don't fight back with words. Don't fight back at all. The left should unilaterally surrender.
No.
Hell no.
That is
But you fight back
completely not
with
what I
words.
said.
You don't fight
Piers,
back
is that
with
what I
violence.
said?
That's insane. That's insane. Shut up. Now,
Did I
on the
say
right,
Cenk is blamed
you
for
guys
this?
are
I said the
pretending
shooter
that
is blamed
Trump,
for this.
shut up. You guys are pretending that Trump doesn't have authoritarian tendencies when the man wouldn't get out of office in 2020. When he
wouldn't or he did? He wouldn't or he did? Because if he wouldn't, then he would not. But he did, so that's not leaving.
My God, his chief of staff came in and told him that they were threatening to murder his vice president. And according to not me, but Trump staffers, he said that he didn't mind, that Pence deserved it. He's a guy who's super vitriolic and continues to violate due process. I've never called him a Nazi. But if you...
I just in this moment remembered that Dave came from TYT. I don't know why that eluded me, but I just put that together. This is making a lot more sense.
And continues to violate due process. I've never called him a Nazi, but if you say, hey, don't call him a fascist, just call him authoritarian, fine. But I'm going to call him something because he keeps doing authoritarian things. Okay, so now finally to the part that brings us together, guys. This entire conversation's framing is wrong. It's not the left.
That was a good moment for Cenk. You can't ask a question like that and then not have a response when he has a response. Well, why is he saying that? Because he's doing authoritarian things. Whether you agree or disagree, you've got to respond to that. You got to say, like what?
Right on your channel.
Because he keeps doing authoritarian things. Okay, so now.
Nothing. Ooh, you can't put that out there if you're not going to stand on it.
Finally, to the part that brings us together. Guys, this entire conversation's framing is wrong. It's not the left versus the right. 98% of the people on the right and the left are not at all violent and hate the videos that you showed and hate the idea of not leaving after you lose an election, et cetera, et cetera. Hate what happened to Paul Pelosi, hate what happened to Charlie Kirk. We should all be united against the extremes, extreme right and extreme left. It should be the middle against the extremes instead of having the extremes have all of us fight one another and pretend that the most extreme elements on the left represent the left, the most extreme elements on the right represent the right. And on the Young Turks, we're saying that is not the case. The great majority of Americans are good, decent people. And under no circumstances, no matter what our opinions are, and no matter how angry you are about those opinions, should we ever do violence? Or should we ever think of the other side as evil or devils or any of that nonsense talk? So do not do authoritarian
just a lot of
things,
Nazis, according to your titles.
and you certainly shouldn't do it on the left either.
Okay,
Hey, listen, you're talking about that. Honestly, I get death threats all the time. You know the number one group that I get death threats from? Pro-Israel people. They feel entitled to violence.
Yeah, of course.
That does not surprise me at all. Liberty said, I don't like Dave Rubin, but he is genuinely stupid. He is not a grifter. He's a gay metropolitan milquetoast Zionist. I agree. Dave said, Cenk, constant looks like he's going to commit domestic violence.
Everything's about the Jews
and my co-host.
Everything's about.
Well, I can beat you. I can beat you,
Here we
Cenk,
go
because
again.
I've had death threats from pro-Israelis and I've had death threats from pro-Palestinians. So I've had the whole shebang, which probably means I'm doing things about right. Batia, look, it's been a fascinating debate and conversation. But as we've just seen, passions still run high. What do we do to try and lower the temperature? Do you agree with Cenk in his summation there?
Can I ask you something, Cenk? Because I agree with the idea that the extremes don't represent the mainstream. Like, I have not tweeted about the blue sky celebrations because I don't think they matter. I don't think they're significant. I don't think they're representative. But I guess, Cenk, my question to you would be, when a shooter repeats the exact phrasing or language that is in the mainstream on the left, whether it's the guy, you know, in DC outside the Jewish Museum who was chanting Intifada revolution and that's why I did it, or whether it's this guy who his family said that he said Charlie Kirk is hateful and hate speech.
Or if it's the guy with the arena, sorry, I'm not good with names, but the white Ukrainian chick that got stabbed. I got that white girl. I got that white girl.
And a danger, which is stuff that you hear very much from mainstream Democrats. When language that is in the mainstream on the left is repeated by killers, does the left not then, the mainstream, have an obligation to do some soul searching about that kind of language? And does Gavin Newsom, who said punch them in the face last week, not owe people an apology? Does Senator Chris Murphy, who said this is war, do these people not owe some sort of apology? And does the mainstream of the left not owe it to the other side to take some stock of its phrasing? Like, what is owed?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jay said, I like Dave. Why don't people like him? Well, the fact that he's gay is a big part for many people, but he's also just not very deep. Like, nothing that he puts forth is really is really breaking through. He is kind of just a hub of what other people say and just the general zeitgeist of the online right. I mean, what's something that he said that you haven't heard from many other people? Not much. I mean, literally, other than left the left, which he didn't even necessarily mean to be a phrasing. It's just more like, I don't dislike him. I just don't think that he adds much. And maybe I'm a little jealous that he's got a platform, but I guess. I don't know. I just think he's unimpressive.
The other side.
And again, I don't dislike him. I'm not impressed by him.
To take some stock of its phrasing, like, what is owed in the moment that it is the conservatives who are the victims right now? What's owed to us? I'm asking this
At the very least, a fucking apology. At the very least, a man culpa. All right. Things have gotten a little out of hand. Let's all, including you, but us, let's turn the temperature down.
You know, from the bottom of my heart, because I want to
Tell that to Michael Blackman and Marcus in the Discord. They don't like him because he's gay. There's a lot of people like that. The woke right.
I'm asking this totally, you know, from the bottom of my heart, because I want to get to the unity place. But Dave is totally right. Like, what is owed? What acknowledgement is owed?
Cenk?
So I actually think that is a good question, and it will lead to a mea culpa. But let me get there, okay? So we've done a lot of.
You should have started. What do you mean? Let me get there. Let me get there. You see the level of emotion, anger, passion. Let me get there. How about you start with that? How about you start with that before you start lecturing us on what we should be doing? If you are already building up to a mea culpa, then fucking get there.
Will lead to a mea culpa, but let me get there, okay? So we've done a lot of segments on the Young Turks about right-wing language. And nowadays, there's a tiny amount of things that I agree with Tucker Carlson on, Lauren Ingraham and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and we've had some of them on the show, et cetera. But in the past, I think that they use language that you're talking about.
He's talking about surrogacy. And so I would call that tangentially his gayness.
But yeah, that got people riled up. And then you see in some of their manifestos, the guy who went and shot Latinos in Texas, Dylan Roof in South Carolina, political manifestos from the right wing. Now, what I said back then was, Tucker should be careful with his language because it's riling these people up to do these terrible things. That's what I want to apologize for. So, no, we are not responsible, and Tucker is not responsible. Nobody on this panel is responsible for psychos. We have to make our political points. We cannot stand down. We have, and there's nothing wrong with the fights that we have on political stuff, right? And so we have to value freedom of speech. We have to have those conversations. We have to meet in the battlefield of ideas, right? And I can't go and say, hey, I'm adamant about this, but Tucker was adamant about that, and he's wrong and I'm right. No, we are not responsible for the actions of extreme people. But we do have a so when I said to the right wing, you guys are responsible for those words, that's what I'm apologizing for. No, we are not responsible. None of us on the right or left.
Whoa. You're apologizing? Did I miss the apology? What you talking about? Oh wait, I have that.
That's what I'm apologizing for. No, we are not responsible. None of us on the right or left for the actions of these guys. But guys,
I've got to jump in because we're actually.
But we've all got to say on our shows, stop the violence.
I agree with you. Look, we've run out of time because it's a live show. I've only got 5 minutes left. I've got Reverend Franklin Graham waiting. I want to thank my panel. You've all been.
Guys, disciples, make sure the party keeps raging by joining the after party.
Great. It's been a really
remember, if you are not a member of this channel, you do not have access to the after party unless you click that link at the top of the chat. That is our free chat, where you can be all the time, 24/7, no payment at all. But you will get a day pass to come and hang out with us. We're having a panel just like this. You don't even have to cam up. It is a good time. Come on through.
Fascinating debate about all the issues here. And I really appreciate you taking so much time to be with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless.
Me neither.
Well, joining me now is Reverend Franklin Graham, President of Samaritan's Purse and the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association. Franklin, thank you so much for joining me. It's such a sad week, isn't it? To see a young man murdered in cold blood in the way that Charlie Kirk was. Whatever your political opinions, doesn't really matter. He was a man of strong faith. What's been your reaction to the killing of Charlie Kirk?
Well, it appears I don't feel sorry for Charlie because he's in the presence of God, and I feel sorry for his wife and his children, and my prayers are for them. But Charlie, he said, I'm nothing without Jesus, and he said just the day that he died, he said Jesus was the way, the truth, and life. He said he tweeted, I believe, tell somebody today about Jesus. His whole life was about Jesus Christ, and he's an incredible guy. He's not only deep faith, but he wanted everyone to know that Jesus Christ was the way, the truth, and the life, and there was no other way to God except through him. And Charlie was ready.
Okay, I'm with it as long as we're talking in context. I'm not trying to sit here and be preached to. But you guys know what time it is, because you guys have hit the goal, and because we got $42. And every $2 is a push-up. I now have to do 21 push-ups. I'm not excited about it, but I will do it for you. Pay yourselves, guys. You paid me. Now pay yourselves. We should all be working out. And just because I'm lazy doesn't mean you should be. If you can't do 21 push-ups, do 10. If you can't do 10, do 5. If you can't do 5, do 3. If you can't do 1, do a girl push-up. Let's go! Ow. Here we go! Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 1. For good luck. There we go. Pay yourselves, bitches. He said, I'm genuinely curious. Do gays get slick on their dick after pulling out? Does it smell like an open sewer? Meaning poop? As someone who has fucked a female butthole, yes. I would imagine it's the same in terms of the. Guess this is a pink eye for more. Yeah. That is an interesting question, and I don't really think I even want to know the answer. Guys, I want to thank you so very much for hanging out. I know that you could be doing anything else in the world. It's a Friday night, and yet here you guys are, here you guys are hanging out with me and Morty and each other. And that means the fucking world to me. Look at all of this. You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. It keeps going. It keeps going. And again, guys, thank you so very, very much. Again, I know you could be doing anything else, so the fact that you are here means the world to me. But like we were saying, and like what's her name, Emily, like Charlie Kirk's wife was saying, there we go, pay yourselves. But like she was saying, you've got to get involved. If there's not something to get involved in, then start something. But guess what? I already did that for you. I started it for you. And I'm not asking for any of your money. Just click the link and be part of something that actually fucking matters. Turning Point USA is going to go on, but Charlie Kirk is gone. He is gone. He is gone. We need somebody who is going to be able to take over. And I'm not saying that's going to be me, but I sure as shit am willing for it to be. And if it's not me, then we can have the community to find that next person. I can only do what I can do. I can only do what I can do. I've been, this shit's fucked me up. But I've been here. I've done 3 streams since that happened. And still been putting out videos. I'm doing everything I can. And some of you guys are awesome. Showing up, being part of the conversation, sharing the videos, commenting on the streams, commenting on the videos, liking the video. All of this stuff matters and helps. And I need your help. I wish I could do it without asking you for anything. I wish that I had that power, but I don't. So I need you guys. So thank you so very, very much for all of you being here. And I can't thank you enough. So all I can say, again, is thank you. Again, if you are new, please do hit that subscribe. I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. And you know YouTube is bad with those notifications, so hit the bell and join the Discord so that you never miss an Indian Jesus live party ever again. Once again, guys, that is Morty, and I have been your host, Lutch, a.k.a. The Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, we are out of here. Peace.